I'm here. People turn on the podcast and just see you, and they're like, "Oh boy, we're in for a bang today." Okay. Are you ready?
Oh, I was born ready.
Oh my god, I'm not ready. I need a fidget material.
What'd you do with your gift?
Is it in that little pickle bag?
Yeah.
It's right next to me.
Okay.
I don't have a fidget material. I'm gonna go nuts. Opening these, I'm such a little wiener. Opening these little pots for the first time is so difficult.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
Nothing like a fresh.
Nothing like it.
Nothing like a fresh Play-Doh. Okay, you're ready. I'm ready.
I'm ready.
What do we got here? This. 3, 2, 1. Go Nintendo Podcast, webisode 994, the Iron Moth Podcast. MomBrain, would you please read to us the Pokemon?
With pleasure. Iron Moth. This Pokemon resembles an unknown object described in a paranormal magazine as a UFO sent to observe humanity.
You're watching Don Paranormal Magazine. Big
I
part of
know.
the show.
I think I talked about that last week, didn't I?
I don't remember. I don't remember the podcast as soon as it's over.
I think I brought up Don because we were talking to Music Man about it.
I know we brought up the show. Yeah, I remember that.
It's 3 feet 11 inches tall.
Music Man, we speak your name.
Just under 80 pounds, unknown gender, category is Paradox. The abilities include Quark Drive, which boosts the Pokemon's most proficient stat on electric terrain, or if the Pokemon is holding booster energy. That's all I have for you in the Pokemon section.
Oh, Squeezer, the caramel squeezer. There's another bottle there.
Yeah, but I was not, there was enough in there, and I wasn't going to open the new bottle.
MomBrain made coffee before the podcast, which is something she usually does, and it's almost, I would say, 99.9% delectable every time, but this time it tasted different because she didn't put as much caramel squeezer in it, because I'm a little bitch boy and I need I think I'm getting better. This is fine and I can drink this.
Yeah.
I know I've talked about it before, but I've never been a coffee guy, and it took me decades to become a coffee guy. I always wanted to be one just because I know people love coffee, and now I in the last year, I guess, the last year, I've turned a corner. I have a refined palate, but I still like things sweeter, and I absolutely love extra ridiculously sweet things. It's the way I was born, baby. It's the way I love it. Give me all the cake icing and frosting you can possibly give me. I need it. I want it. I yearn for it. I live for it. Thanks for reading the Pokemon, MomBrain.
The pleasure was mine.
MomBrain is here.
I sure am.
How are you doing, MomBrain?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine. Thanks for asking. Michaels is still not here. He is away on family assignment. All is well. He's doing good.
Michaels, we speak your name.
We speak your name. I'm so upset because a few weeks ago, we had the Nintendo Direct, and that took up the bulk of the show, and we sped past what we played because there wasn't time, and I had forgotten that Dew had played something that I really wanted to hear him talk about. And then I was thinking, oh, we'll get to it next week. And then the next week came and he couldn't be here. And then the week after that came and he couldn't be here. And here we are. So hopefully this coming week, he'll be back in action, and I will be able to hear, and all of you will be able to hear what he played. And
no. We do have Miss Piggy.
We'll get to that eventually. But I was like, man, one mistake on my part, and it's going to cost me a whole month of waiting. Not any fault of Dew's, obviously. Nikki Hill is not here. Obviously, he is on hentai assignment as always, and as we all know, there is so much hentai to cover, and Nikki Hill has to cover it all and let the jokes make themselves on that one. SD says, another day I have to be on the road. Hello, and drive safely. And you know what? I'll say hello to Discord in a second. I promise. Let me get to the other hellos. Hello, Josh Robot. How are you, my friend?
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. How's life? What's going on? Anything new to share? Anything you want to talk about?
My name's Josh Robot, and I'm here to say I'm the best on this podcast, far and away.
It's been a
I'm
while.
so great. And you guys suck. If you don't like that, I don't give a darn.
Don't give a darn,
big hello
baby.
to my fans.
Fans around the world, around the universe. Josh Robot has intergalactic fans. I've never been more sure of it. Radical Defect says for episode 1000, a Josh Grobot concert.
Ooh,
wow,
that would be really
that's an
cool.
idea. I mean, there you go. Megatron is a big fan of Josh Grobot's music.
I am the world's best singer.
Hey, yeah, wop 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 wop. Blah, blah, blah. Now hit me with yours, Josh. There's a bad impression.
Is that what I sound like?
I mean, I thought so. You do it. Even better than I remember.
Yes, I really did.
You really did it. And of course, hell yeah. Speaking of hell yeah, George is here. Hell yeah, George. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing quite lime today.
Well, we were talking about lime bags last week. MomBrain was pushing back on that a little bit.
She was right to push back on that.
Oh, what? You were all about it last week.
Actually, I'd like for everyone to know MomBrain is right about pretty much everything.
George, that's really nice of
Where
you.
is this coming
Thank
from,
you.
George?
A man can sour on one opinion and sweeten up on another, can't he?
It's true, George.
It's true, George.
I think that's
It's true, George.
That's really true.
Why
MomBrain,
don't you ask George?
we just did, George. MomBrain, I love how you look directly at George when you're talking.
Why wouldn't I?
I mean, you're right. It's
She's
just what
about
to
the
do.
only one who gives me any respect around here.
Wow, George, where's this coming from?
I'm just feeling a little sour today.
Oh, okay.
You'll have to excuse me.
Anything you want to talk about? You good, my friend?
I'm green with envy
Of who? Of what?
of the great partner you have in MomBrain.
Is this going to become a problem?
George, come on now. Just
George, what? Are you coveting your neighbor?
I wouldn't dream of it.
George, I'm sure there's a beautiful Georgina out there somewhere. Why don't you talk to Uncle Giuseppe and see if he can hook you up with somebody?
I guess I'll go give him a call. I'll be back in a little bit.
Work in progress. George love interest. Maybe we'll meet them on episode 1000. Who knows? Let me say hello to Discord. Hello, Darmani and Human Fart and Red Souza and Slider. Slider is trying to watch the podcast, but clearly their cat has a different idea. But as we know, as all cat owners know, as all good cat owners know, the cat decides what happens every single day at every moment. You do what the cat wants.
Percy's looking good.
Radical Defect sent us a picture of the beautiful person. Oh my God. Red Susan says, I'll set up George with my cousin Georgia. Look at her.
Zowie, move over, MomBrain.
George, how do you feel about that? She's got lemons and limes. Is that okay?
She's a juicy little piece.
I think we got something there. All right. Hello, Backseat Studios and Nico Darunia and SD. Radical Defect, if I didn't say that. Drake. Tater Tot. Roth. Birthday. Hey, all. Tater Tot says, hey, I'll be at a 95-year-old's birthday party, but Spud might be watching. Wow, 95 years old. Happy 95th birthday, 95-year-old person. We hope it's the best one yet.
Thing on?
Oh, boy. Go ahead, Josh. Do it. It's your time to shine. Hi, Malik Halo. Josh, I gave you your... Go ahead. The floor is yours.
Yeah, Josh, you really should be taking it away.
Thanks, George. Hi, Zikamuto. 95. 95 years old. Hi, Nintendo. Round of applause. I was going to say round of applause. Round of applause. Drake says, is George okay with long distance relationships?
From lime to lime, I could handle it.
Okay, all right. It's got to start somewhere. If things get really good,
Red Susan says they can talk online.
talk online. Yeah, definitely. Things get good, and and you're really vibing. I'm sure you could visit each other from lime to lime, and who knows what'll happen. Look at me and Annie Austin. We've had a long distance relationship for years and years, and we only just met in person not that long ago, and it was a beautiful meeting, and it felt like we had known each other.
Baby, lock the door.
Our entire lives. Really, that's the thing. I know meeting people after you've had a relationship online is nothing new. Lots of people do it. But there's always that trepidation where you're like, oh, we've talked online forever and, we play games online. But is being in person going to be awkward? Will it be weird? And I've had times when it is weird. And Austin was not one of those times. It was like, I hope it felt the same way for him. But for me, it was just like, we have always been friends. And I feel sad about it every day when he's not here. So. But he's busy being a mega YouTube star. He just put out a new video about, I want to say, electric limes in Red Dead. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. It will be my part of my treadmill viewing tonight. Let's go. Do Red Dead Redemption 2's power lines connect to anything? Another 20-minute banger from Annie Austin. I will, Austin. I will take a look at this map. I'm going through to see what year. Oh, boy. You know what? Because we love Austin so much, we're just going to do this.
So that's what we're going to do. And anyone who backs Powerlines knows that you can't do it without the support of your favorite YouTube sponsor, MeUndies. Welcome to the sponsorship. Here
Newest
at
video,
Austin, we are
MeUndies.
MeUndies, the greatest brand that I
Let's
got.
see.
If you buy some right now as a listener of
There you go. MeUndies.com/Annie Austin right now as a listener of his show. I don't know. I guess you're a listener. It says listener, You can get cozy.
I'm sweating a little bit.
This is a must-read thing for him. You can get cozy and spooky for less with deals of up to 50% off. MeUndies.com/MeUndies Austin. MeUndies.com/Annie Austin. Enter promo code Annie Austin. There you go. Enjoy that lovely underwear money, my friend. You deserve every bit of it. And I hope you can buy as many MeUndies as you want with all the success you have. All right. Moving on. I don't have any non-Patreon related stuff to talk about, but MomBrain apparently has something for me. So we will learn of this together because it's a surprise to me as well. So MomBrain, the floor is yours.
Well,
by the way, if I got to pee today, which I will, it's got to be all you.
Well, I was at a local thrift today and I found something that I'm pretty sure Ramit is going to really love.
Scale of 1 to 10.
I think it's going to be a 10.
Okay.
If you will go ahead and open it.
Sure.
I also found this beautiful Miss Piggy.
Yes, if you're watching the show, the new Miss Piggy on the table is from her thrifting. Also, Miss Piggy's eyes. She has jaundice. Look at those eyes. What? Look at her eyes. They're like yellowed.
Stop. It's not nice.
I am opening up this tiny package. It's some sort of necklace charm. I don't know what it is yet. I'm turning it to... Oh my God. MomBrain, you can describe it as I bring it up to the camera for the watchers.
It is a beautiful... Here, take the paper off of it. It is a beautiful metal elf medallion. It is silver tone. There was actually a lot of elf stuff. In fact, there were nice. Well, like a real influencer.
Well, you have to get the camera.
Yeah. So if we can't get it on your necklace as is, I thought maybe I could do a couple things with it, or you could just wear it by itself. Do you think is that a 10?
This is 100% a 10.
Yeah. I really thought.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
You're welcome so much.
Pendant. What is this?
Right?
And okay, 2 questions. Number 1, what is this? Number 2, looking at you, MomBrain.
What?
What's the other question? There's only 2 questions you could ask about this.
About the elf necklace?
Yeah, number 1, what is this? Number 2, come on.
Where did it come from?
No, why would anybody get rid of it?
Oh, well, yeah.
Somebody
Yeah.
must have died and like it got cleaned out of their house because nobody would willingly give up an Alf necklace. Thank you so much, MomBrain. That's amazing. That is
Slider64 worked at a pet rabies clinic today and
okay.
says a guy brought in a 14-year-old blind chihuahua named Miss Piggy.
Oh my god. Look at Nico Darunia's parents' new cat.
Yeah, that's pretty great, right?
That is lovely. Oh, Alf likes it. Human Fart talked to Alf, and I can see Alf is a big fan. As he says, am I watching QVC?
Yeah.
What's the value story on this necklace here?
I mean, it's a pretty good value story, I think.
A decapitated Alf, of course. Yep, that's it. That's what it is. Boy, there's a decent amount of Alf paraphernalia in this room. I think it's just going to become an.
There
Alf
was a
shrine.
ton of Alf paraphernalia at the shop.
Mm-hmm. What else?
There was this exact Alf.
The little plush Alf on the table. Yeah.
From Crazy Colonel, right?
Just yes. I mean, come on.
There were
He's the
buttons
king.
and stickers. There was a good amount of Pee-wee stuff. It's the place that has Falcor.
Okay. I just want like every day, I just want Alf in my life every day. I want to wake up. First thing I want to see is Alf. When I go to sit down in my office, I want to see Alf. When I close my eyes, I want to see Alf. It's just Alf all the time. And with the necklace, I think I can make some of that happen. Any Alf undies? I know Me Undies does not have any Alf designs, but there's got to be Alf underwear out there somewhere. And as he says, it's because I'm the Alf male. That's pretty great. I'm sure there's some thrift shop out there where you can find Alf underwear. And, if you're okay with buying underwear at a thrift shop, then you go right ahead. I am a little too skeeved out. But were I in a situation where I was very low on funds and I needed underwear, then I would be at a thrift shop. So I have seen some horror stories about clothing, especially underwear at thrift shops, and I'll leave the rest to imagination. But, yeah. We used to go thrift shopping a lot back in our high school days and buy all kinds of clothing. All right. Patreon. MomBrain. Did you know you can join the GoNintendo Patreon?
For $1.
For $1. See, when this thing is connected right and the wire's working, it's nice and loud and clear. And
Okay, you did a great job.
Thank you. Thank you so much. For $1, what can you read about on Patreon this week? Well, let me tell you. I wrote about local co-op games. And when was the last time you had people in your house or you were in a house with people, family, friends, or whatever, where you were all playing a game together? And I wrote about this because last week I was at Do Michael's place and Music Man was there as well. And Do Michael's was playing some UFO 50. And we were sitting back and talking about it. And I said while we were there, I was like, guys, this is it. These are the days. Like, we used to do this so often where like someone would sit around and play games and everybody else was hanging out talking or engaged with the game, or you were playing the game alongside the person. I was like, I really miss those days. Playing online is wonderful. Being able to hang out with friends virtually online is fantastic, but it will never, in my opinion, hold a candle to being in a room with someone playing a game, whether that be actually playing with them or passively playing, where they're playing a game on TV and you're just offering up commentary or help or talking about the game in general, or it's just someone's playing a game and you're all just having a different conversation. It's just wonderful. I really, really love those moments, and it's been a long time since I had one of those with friends. We have it often in North Carolina when we go on vacation because someone is almost always playing a game on the TV there, and we'll be watching it or talking while they're playing or whatever. But man, I really like those moments, and doing that with friends was something that I hadn't done in a very long time, and it just felt really good. And I really long for those kind of experiences again. But there's a whole bunch of reasons why they're very hard to come by nowadays. So I was talking to you guys about when was the last time that happened for you. I also wrote about one of my life's greatest missions, and it's the one I think I've failed more than any other. Convincing non-gamers to give a video game a shot. Have I had non-gamers play games before? Yes, but it's like when they're here or I have something with me, or it's like, for example, with the Switch 2, with Switch 2 Welcome Tour, it's like, let me bring this around, and the old people can try this out. And there's some old people that don't play games, and we had our fun, and that was a very wonderful experience. But it's not the same as like talking to someone, being like, you should play this game. I have the things you need to play this game, and I really think it would resonate with you, and you should give it a shot. And having them play, because I don't know that I've ever had that specifically. Like, I might have one cousin who was influenced to do that, but I don't know if it was specifically because of me. Sure, I was a part of it, but I think there was a whole bunch of other things going on there. But and it's not about like do what I do because what I do is right. It's just that there are things that I play where I'm like, man, so and so would really get something out of this experience, or at least I think they would. But maybe they don't have a system, or they don't play games, or nothing against games, they just don't play them. And I try to get them to engage with those experiences, and I fail, I think, almost every single time. I really can't think of one genuine success story there, and it's a bummer because I'm the kind of person where someone is like, "Hey, there's this thing. You should try this." And as long as it, doesn't put my life at risk or goes against my core values, then yeah, I'm open to it. Um, and it just bums me out that other people aren't like that. And I'm not saying it's wrong, just saying it bums me out. There's some friends in particular who are not gamers that I have tried to get to play games, and some of them have said like, "Yeah, yeah," and then they just never do. Uh, I have one friend who has a game because it's a visual novel, and I thought they'd really like it because they're a big reader and they like the kind of subject matter that the game is about. And I was like, no pressure at all, but I have the game, and if you want to give it a go, like that'd be awesome. I'd love to hear what you think about it. And they were like, yeah, I'll definitely do it. And that was 2 years ago, and they still have the game, and they've never played it. And
Hurry up already!
I haven't brought it up since because I don't want to be annoying about it. But MomBrain, would you say it's fair that after 2 years for me to be like, hey, did you ever play that game? I know they didn't, but
Yeah, it's fair. Totally. And
because
they
I'm terrified
have it.
of being annoying about
no,
this stuff,
you're
because
okay.
apparently I annoy everybody with this stuff all the time, not just related to games, but stuff that I like and want people to engage with. So I'm very hypersensitive about it now. But I think 2 years is a long enough buffer where it's like, hey, because like I want to be like, if you're not going to play, it's fine, but can I have the game
Yeah,
back?
exactly.
So it's just that it really does bum me out. And we have another friend. I don't know if MomBrain knows who I'm talking about. Maybe she does. Who has, of their own volition, said to me that they have wanted to play games and have considered playing games. They've just never actually done it. And the moment they said that to me, which was over a year ago now, I wanted to be like, oh my God, do this, do that, blah, blah, blah. But I held back and I was like, yeah, I would love to help you. Like, whatever you need, you can borrow from me. I think this would be a lot of fun. And it has forever stuck with me that they've said that. And to my knowledge, they have never acted upon it, and they've never followed through. And I want them to follow through because, obviously, spoiler alert, I think video games are pretty great. So having somebody else like jump in for the first time and be like, oh my God, this was a lot of fun. What have I been missing out on? Like, I'd love to be someone's gateway for that, because I think of like me with comic books, which was all of my own doing. But I eventually got caught up on the MCU, and I was like, I want to read actual comics. And then I started doing that, and I was like, why have I not been doing this all along? This is fantastic. And I've had so many situations like that. And I wish I saw that in other people. And I know other people do that. It's just the circle of people I know don't really do that.
I don't believe
and it's a bummer. So I would just like, one day, that's my life's greatest mission, to one day introduce someone to games and have them be like, oh my God, this is great. I'm really interested in this stuff. And I'm not saying they got to play games all the time or go out and buy a system, but to be like, every year they play like a couple games and be like, this was real. I didn't know games were like this. I didn't know there were these types of games out there. I didn't know this stuff existed. Like, I would just love to see that. And I think I'll be pushing up daisies before that day happens, but I'm not going to stop. It's just I have to be very careful.
You introduced my mom to Style Savvy, and she had a DS to play it.
Did she buy DS or was it one of yours?
I think it was one of mine.
Yeah, and yes, but like that was more selling on your point.
Well, but if not for you, I wouldn't have had a DS and been playing
Yeah, but you're
games.
open to games.
Yeah, but
like
it's
you
because
playing
of you. I mean, well, I guess I played before you.
You
but, like,
had video game systems before
Yeah.
you even knew me. Player 1, Player 2 controllers. I mean, you're right. Again, like that's a situation where I'd be like, there's something there. It's at least partially connected to what I want, but is not what I'm really going for. I want,
Okay.
and it's not like I want a pet project as a person.
Yeah.
It's just I would think that'd be really cool. And you know me very well. You know how excited about things I get and how much passion I have for things. And for once, I would like to just see that passion in someone else. That's it. That's all. Just and I don't want them to be like, "Thank you so much for that's
Yeah.
not what it's about. I want to see them do that and be like, "Wow, I had no idea." And then they go on their own journey. That's what I want. That's it. That's it. But not the world we live in, I guess. Well, not the world I live in, but MomBrain, I need words of wisdom from you.
Just keep on doing the right thing.
Keep on keeping on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those are my words of wisdom.
Thanks, MomBrain.
Let it be.
I also wrote about Wayward, which is something I talked to MomBrain about. MomBrain, would you like to talk about Wayward? I know you haven't watched.
The TV show that's got like a Twin Peaks vibe?
So everything, just to be clear, neither of us have watched the show yet. I plan on watching it at some point. It's on Netflix. Just came out on the 25th. It's got Toni Collette, the lady from Hereditary, the mom from Hereditary, who's fantastic. I really like her. But everything I've seen, the show, you know what? I could go look right now. Every time I see something about the show, it's like the article that pops up about it mentions Twin Peaks every time. And I don't know how related to Twin Peaks it really is, but so the review average was higher before. It was at 89, I think. Now it's at 73 for critics. So it's dropped considerably, but that's still fresh. Audience is at 53%. So audience is very split. It's a 50-50 shot there. But that lends me to be more interested because I'm like, why is this so divisive? You know, if it was like audience 20%, I'd be like, okay, it seems like this really probably isn't a great thing. But a split like that, I'm like, I can see people, you know.
If it's Twin Peaks, I mean, I think that there's like that kind of a split. Like among Twin Peaks fans, I'd love to know what the split is.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, and I guess originally my thought was like worried that like it's because Twin Peaks people were disappointed. Like it was like, oh yeah, man, this is like Twin Peaks. But I imagine that's yeah, but but I can't imagine like,
you know what I could do? Click the ratings.
Okay.
This says bad acting. The acting is somewhat good. People are talking terrible acting. Okay.
Oh no.
People complaining about ambiguity, which is something Twin
Very
Peaks
Twin
has
Peaks
in spades. So,
fine by me.
Terrible actor, bad acting. Bad acting just keeps
Do they
coming
say
up.
who in particular?
I'm trying not to read too much, you see. But then there's a ton of 5-star reviews too. So I don't know. It's got acting is bad and feels slow paced. I know a lot of people will watch Twin Peaks and be like, this is way too slow paced. Here you go. 5 stars. Really great mystery thriller to keep you on the edge of your seat. The dialogue was a bit cheesy in the first episode, but it gets better afterwards. Struggling to get through the first episode. Acting is so bad. All right. So bad acting is something that the audience has repeatedly said is a point. So I'm watching so many things right now, but I really do want to check it out. I like supporting original content. I like Toni Collette a lot. And if you're going to say anything about Twin Peaks, that at least piques my interest a little bit. So, MomBrain, maybe you'll get to it before I do, but because the new anime season is officially underway. One show started yesterday, but the real rush starts on the 30th and then like the first 2 weeks of October. So there's a lot of, so right now is a tough time for me to get into a new show, unless I'm going to watch outside of the treadmill, but I want to play games and stuff too. And like Only Murders in the Building, I only watched the first episode of the new season, and I love that show, and I loved that episode. I just haven't gotten back to it because when it's the same thing we always talk about. You only get so much free time. I got 90 minutes on the treadmill, which is a good chunk of time to watch something, and then later on I can play games. And there are times where I'm like, maybe I should watch something, but I also want to play stuff, and I don't, can't do it all. So I don't know. It's a first world problem that isn't really a problem. But anyway, Wayward, you know what? I didn't even give you a synopsis of the show, and we're talking about Wayward synopsis. This is from Google AI. About 2 teenage best friends sent to the manipulative cult-like therapy school, Tall Pines Academy. There you go. That's all I'm going to read for you. I don't like Google AI. I will click a link to support the site for where that came from, and it took me to today.com, as in the Today Show. So that's how you do Google AI. You read it, you don't believe it, and then you go to you click a source to support it. At least that's what I do. Moving on. Wow, this is a great segue. I must have had a train of thought here. I also wrote about being overwhelmed by entertainment, which it's something I know MomBrain feels.
Very much.
I'm overwhelmed in the way that there is so much right now that I want to engage with, and it is impossible. And usually, honestly, it's impossible no matter what area of entertainment you're looking at: TV shows, movies, games, books, comic books, manga, whatever you want to throw in there. There's always a ton coming out, but I feel like right now in particular is an explosion in entertainment, the likes of which I haven't seen in a very long time. There are so many games out right now that I want to play, and so many more coming out in the next few weeks. This is always a busy time of the year for games as we lead into the holiday season, but boy, oh boy, is it exploding right now. And it's absolutely impossible to keep up with because, this game is 20 hours, this game's 30 hours, and then there's RPGs, and it's like, well, that's 70 to 100 hours right there. And you have multiple RPGs coming out within weeks of each other, and it's like, this is literally an impossibility. There is no way I can keep up with any of this because the amount of time required to go through these games is just too much compared to what I have to offer. And I'm not complaining about long games. It's just we all only have so many hours to do. And I think even if you had, say you sleep for 8 hours. So what do you got? What's that? 12, 8. How many hours a day? 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16 hours. You got to say you put 16 hours towards entertainment every day. You'd still be swamped. You couldn't get through everything that's out there if you're open to stuff. So it's impossible. And then that's just games I was saying, but TV shows, as I just said, there's a whole bunch of shows I want to watch. The new anime season is starting up. There's seasons of shows that are returning now that I really love those shows. It's only so much time to dedicate. I'm not overwhelmed in the sense that there's so much out there. I'm just not going to engage with any of it. I'm engaged with entertainment every single day because I love it and I want to. But I'm recognizing usually I can at least from a TV and movie perspective, I can keep somewhat even with what I want to see. And right now it's completely out of whack. And that's before the new anime season starts. So I'm like, oh boy, I'm screwed. Forget it. So, and with TV and movies, there's stuff on the horizon too that I'm really excited about. So not a bad problem to have where it's like, oh my God, I have too many things to entertain me. But I know a lot of people have choice paralysis where it's like, what game do I play? What movie do I watch? What show do I watch? What book do I read? And then they spend so much time trying to figure out what they are going to do that they end up doing nothing. And it happens to all of us, which is why I've said so many times before, if I ever get that feeling, I either flip a coin between two things or I look at my list, my backlog, and I'm just like, number 18, blah, 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 and I go down and I see what it is. I'm like, okay, 18, we're doing it. And I just go right in. And sometimes it is scary, yes, but not scary in a bad way. It's just like, oh, here we go, starting something new. Like right now, I'm like, so many games I'm playing, and I had stuff for review, and Fatal, the new Silent Hill just came out. And I'm like, I really want to play Silent Hill, but I'm in the middle of so many other things. It's, again, first world complaint. Not a bad thing to have, but I think it's fair to talk about being overwhelmed by all the options out there. And if you're someone like me who's into everything, it's like I don't have a chance. I literally don't have a chance. And there will be things that fall by the wayside, and we all have our backlogs, but seems like my backlog is being filled up extra quickly nowadays. I want to do, I've said this so many times. I need a second monitor so I can look at the Discord better. I'm going into the Discord now. Sliders says, I'm wrapping up my first run at UFO 50 this weekend, about 55 hours in, jumping deep into Final Fantasy Tactics next week and Galaxy 1 and 2 on Switch 2. Yeah, that's what I was thinking about. I was thinking that Tactics is coming out, and that's going to be, you know, multiple hours worth of entertainment there. And as you said, Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 are coming to Switch and Switch 2. I'm sure plenty of people will want to get back into those. Silk Song just came out, and that's a massive game. Human Fart says Silk Song and Hades 2. Yeah, Hades 2 is another one. Human Fart says Silk Song and Hades 2 alone is 100 plus hours. Yeah, 100%. That is definitely easily doable to clock 100 hours between those two games. You're so correct about that.
Numbers.
Radical Defect says if you've never played Final Fantasy Tactics before, you're going to be blown away. I've only heard unbelievable, amazing, incredible things about Final Fantasy Tactics. And now that I am 100% over my RPG scaredy cat nature, I am so excited to play that without a doubt. I will be playing that and sharing my thoughts. And it's exciting to know that that game is so highly regarded. And I will finally have, well, I had a chance back then to play it. I was just too much of a baby. But now I will be playing it. And I'm very excited to see how it holds up or how the experience is for me. And I don't have the thing where people are like, this is great. And my expectations get so high that I'm like, it's not as good as people said, or like I go in expecting it and it's ruined. That's not how I operate. So I'm not tainted by that kind of stuff. And we'll see. We'll see how it goes. So there's that. Yeah, Radical Defect says I'm playing Pac-Man World 2 Repack, having never played the original, and I'm just delighted by it. I played the original. I believe I still own it, and I really liked it. And we had a review copy come in. And I wanted to play it, but I'm like, I just don't have the time to play this because of everything else that I'm doing. So I gave it to another staffer. They just gave me their review. It'll be posted on, fingers crossed, Monday. Definitely this week, but I think Monday. But yeah, I loved that original game, and I'm not really one to replay games, but I was curious to see how that came together because there's something about that Pac-Man platformer in general that I like really, really enjoyed. I remember playing that and having very fond memories of it. So I was interested to see if those would hold up. But the review copy has been given to another wonderful staffer, and you will see their opinion on Monday or Tuesday, probably. Since this is a perfect time to segue, let me thank once again the wonderful staffers at GoNintendo for putting in effort and time and hard work on features. I want to say thank you to Nintendo for giving us a review of Hollow Knight Silk Song. They spent over 65 hours with the game before they gave us the review, and that's not me knocking that. That's me saying they know the game inside and out. They really dedicated themselves, and I would much rather a reviewer take as much time as they want to review a title rather than like, I need this review now, get it out now. Obviously, there's certain things I would love to have review embargoes hit by. Silk Song wasn't the case because they didn't send out codes. But yeah, I'd much rather they take the time and do that. So thank you to them. Go read their review. Also, a big thank you to Quince, who we were invited by the lovely people at Nintendo. Thank you to Nintendo for inviting us to their offices to play their holiday lineup of Switch and Switch 2 games. Quince went in my stead and got hands-on with Nintendo's holiday lineup, and that includes Kirby Air Riders, Pokemon Legends ZA. I'm scrolling through just so I don't miss any of them. Galaxy 1 and 2, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, and then they took some other pictures while there and talked about Amiibo, blah, 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 blah. So thank you so much to Quince for going in there and doing that. I'm sure I've been to these things. It's always a blast to go to these things and play games, especially ones that aren't out yet. It's very exciting to be immersed in that Nintendo world because we're all Nintendo dorks, but then a lot of work comes afterwards, and he put together a massive feature on the stuff that he played. So thank you, Quince. Go support his article if you're curious about any of those games. And then myself, I did the review of Hades 2. Hades 2 has had my lion's share of attention in the last couple of weeks because I got early access to that game, not through Steam, early access to the Switch 2 version. So that's where all my focus was, and I was playing that. So thank you to me. You're welcome, me. It was my pleasure. What's going on? People are you're texting me something.
I sent you the picture of Richard. I met a cat today named
That cat.
Richard.
Did you put that in the Discord?
No, I guess I should, shouldn't I?
It's a great cat.
Right?
Crazy Colonel is texting me. He says, dipping in while cleaning. Did you say Slider was in the chat? Slider 64. Slider 64, Colonel. I'm so sorry. The real Slider or the other Slider, not here, no. But Slider 64 we love just the same. What a weekend, right? Colonel's listening to the pod live, cleaning, do some housework. That's, there's something to, as long as it's not like, let's clean out the garage or some garbage like that. It's just like, let's go around, we'll straighten up the living room, get a little dusting done. And then you're just like, okay, that's it. Now I'm going to rot, look at something on my phone, play a game, read a book, take a nap, eat some snacks. That's life, baby. That's what it's all about. A day when you don't have to really go somewhere and really do something and you can just
Gotta live that rot life.
That's right. And MomBrain, it's an honor every day to live the rot life with you.
The
I can
pleasure
think of
is
nothing
mine.
that would make me happier. I also wrote about Demi and the Fractured Dream. Annapurna Interactive did a presentation as part of TGS this year, which is still going on right now, but we're in the public days of TGS. And they revealed 3 games. And I said on Patreon, I am a big fan of Annapurna Interactive. I tend to really like their games. So seeing that they announced 3 new games was very exciting. One of them is Detopia, a gentle-paced puzzle adventure, which looks very intriguing to me. They also announced Annapurna Interactive TGS games. Here we go. People of Note is the other one that they announced, which is a musical RPG that looked really interesting to me. Their their trailer said it was coming to Switch, but unfortunately that was a mistake. I messaged the PR team to get confirmation on that, and they said yes, that is a mistake, and they took the trailer down shortly thereafter. So, not coming to Switch, sadly. But 2 out of the 3 games are coming to Switch, the one I just said. And now Demi and the Fractured Dream. I cannot stress this enough. If you are a more traditional Legend of Zelda fan, and when I say traditional, I'm not thinking of the 2D era. I'm thinking of, we'll say, sure, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Twilight Princess, Wind Waker, Skyward Sword. If you are a fan of that era of Zelda, then you should take a look at Demi and the Fractured Dream because it very much looks inspired by that era. It's got a lovely art style. There's only one song in the trailer, but it is fantastic. It's got, sword fighting and action and platforming. It's got more platforming than a traditional Zelda does, which I'm fine with that. But it is very, very obviously inspired by Zelda. And then it has puzzles as well, which are a big part, or at least a big part of classic Zelda. So if you miss that era or you always need a Zelda-esque fix, and we have no idea when the next mainline Zelda is coming out, I would look forward to Demi and the Fractured Dream, which will be coming to the Switch and Switch 2 in 2026. I think it looks chef's kiss. Everything about that trailer resonated with me. I got goosebumps as soon as it started playing. The music really did it for me. I have no doubt at all, if you are that style Zelda fan, that this game, based on the trailer, will very much resonate with you. So if you haven't watched the trailer, go check it out. I think that game's going to be a banger, and I think Annapurna has a phenomenal track record. And then just last night, I wrote about this, and I haven't read what you guys said, so I don't know. games you missed in franchises that you love. So, there's long-running franchises like Mario or Zelda or Mega Man or whatever, and circumstances might align that you end up missing an installment in one of these franchises and you still haven't gotten back to it. It could be a mainline installment, it could be a spin-off, but whatever the case, I wanted to talk to you guys about games and these franchises that you really like or love or adore or whatever, that for whatever reason, one of them passed you by. I said, for me, I'm a huge fan of traditional 2D Sonic, and I've never played Knuckles Chaotix. There are people who know instantly why I haven't played that. Knuckles Chaotix was only available on the 32X. I never owned a 32X, and Knuckles Chaotix has never re-released on anything. No compilation. That Sega's put out so many Sonic compilations. They have never ever re-released Knuckles Chaotix. So still to this day, the only way to play it is through the 32X or, the nefarious emulation. So if you play things that way, you do you. I don't do that anymore. But even in my days of emulation, I don't know why I never played Knuckles Chaotix. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it wasn't available. But Knuckles Chaotix has escaped me, and I've heard that the game isn't that great. I've heard, it's best left to history. But still, I would like to play Knuckles Chaotix because I never have. And I feel like that's the one piece of the 2D Sonic titles that that's part of the puzzle I need to fill in. Radical says, it's so weird they've never re-released that game. Yeah, it is weird. Yes, Human Fart, there is a Blippo Plus review in the works. I really, really, really want MomBrain to see Blippo Plus. That's the game that's like basically cable access TV channels. I really need you to
we
see
talked
that.
about that.
I
Yeah.
really think you would
Yeah.
enjoy the weirdness of it. Yes, there's a review coming. My focus had to be put on Hades 2 because I don't think this is pulling back the curtain too much. And if it screws me over, it screws me over. Whatever. I've survived other things. As you may know, Nintendo. So Hades 2, you can play on PC, but when it comes to consoles, Hades 2 is a timed exclusive for Switch and Switch 2. So those are the only gaming platforms you can get the game on right now. Later on, it'll go to Xbox and PlayStation. This is what happened with the original Hades 2. It was a timed exclusive on Switch and then went elsewhere. So it obviously worked out the first time around. So Nintendo did a deal with Supergiant to do it for Hades 2. And Nintendo is publishing it. And Nintendo's publishing the physical version of the game. So big deal for Nintendo. This was the first game in 7+ years published by Nintendo that I got early access to. And I was shocked when it came in because it had been so long. Whatever game was before Super Mario Odyssey on Switch, whatever first-party game came out before that, that was the last first-party game I got early access to from Nintendo. So when this option came, or when this came in, I was like, oh my God, I freaked out. I don't know what it means for my future of first-party stuff. Will I get early access? I'm going to guess no. It's just the way I feel. But I'm very happy this one came my way. I can't get into the specifics of what happened. All I can say is it did not happen to me specifically. This was a press-wide decision by Nintendo, and that I'll leave it at that. So I've always had a great relationship with Nintendo. Nothing has ever faltered there. And it's not because I'm a kiss ass. I'm honest about it, but it's always been a very good relationship. So this opportunity came in. I wanted to make sure I was there day and date with the embargo. So I really put every waking moment I had not on the site to playing Hades 2 to get that review out. And I did. And I'll talk more about that later. So that explains that. And that's why Blippo Plus was put on the back burner. But look forward to that whenever I tackle it. I don't know. I don't want to lock myself into this week, but this week or next week seems doable. We got to get back to Lego Voyagers because Voyagers. I never remember. Voyager is Star Trek, so it's probably Voyages. I don't know. Let me look up. We got to get back to that because I need to do a review of that, and I can't play that without you. Lego Voyagers. Damn it, it's Voyagers. It is the Star Trek one. And that's what I wrote about on Patreon. Again, you can join the Patreon for $1. Thank you to everybody over there who supports me with your $1. I hope you find it worth your time. And again, I will respond to every single comment if you leave it before I make my next post. So once I do my next post, I am not returning to the comments of the previous post. But if you get in there and leave a comment before that next post pops up, I promise I will respond to you. And that's that. And MomBrain, with that, can you take us to news, please, finally?
Finally!
Thank you, MomBrain.
Pleasure is mine.
MomBrain, you're a teacher.
I definitely am.
You love data.
I do.
You love-
I love it as a teacher, but I love it more as a behavior specialist.
You love studies and analysis and
Oh,
data
yeah.
and
Ooh.
hypotheses that are proven or disproven, and
Data and science
science and
make my
technology.
insides wiggly.
Well, let me tell you, there was a study this week.
Oh, does it have anything to do with Tylenol?
No. Let me tell you about this study about Tylenol. The journal JMIR Serious Games put together a study from a team of scientists about video games. And they had a group of postgraduate students who are known for their high anxiety and burnout because of their situation in school. They wanted to see what the impact of playing certain games was, or games in general, but they had to play specific games. And the study had some very positive results. So people in the study played Zelda Breath of the Wild because the study was aiming to see what its impact on mental state would be. And the results were very positive. People who played the game, the postgraduates who played the game, came away feeling measurably more calm and also had a newfound sense of purpose and meaning. Players also said they reported feeling more adventurous and skillful in their lives when they stepped away from the game. So long-term impact needs to be studied more. But short-term impact shows that games, at least in this study, can be used to boost players' moods in multiple beneficial ways. Isn't that pretty cool? You play a game,
That's very cool.
you achieve some things in the game, you come out of the game and you're like, yeah, you know what? I'm feeling like I can get some things done. I'm feeling like I can handle this. I'm feeling like I can get through what I'm having a little trouble with. So that's great. And
like
feeling
that.
more calm too. That's a very good one. MomBrain probably would agree with that all the way up until a boss fight, and then she would not feel calm anymore. But
I wouldn't, but afterwards I would feel accomplished once I made it through.
I'll never forget you finishing A Link Between Worlds. I remember.
Is it over? Did I really do it?
Sitting with you at my parents' house, my parents' old house, when you were playing on your 3DS and fighting the final boss and getting very nervous and fidgety, and then you finished the game, and as you said, you could not believe that you finished it, and then you celebrated, and it's just a game-related memory I will always have of you because you are so proud of yourself, and rightfully so.
Yeah.
Now the real question is, Breath of the Wild?
Someday.
Tears of the Kingdom?
Someday.
Echoes of Wisdom?
Sure. Oh, there was a Symphony of the Goddess shirt at the Thrift today.
Just black with gold. Yeah. Nothing fancy.
That's what
I know.
was-
I know the shirt. Yeah. One day, MomBrain, one day you'll get back to those. You've kind of forsaken the Zelda franchise, but you are going to school to learn to get to where you are now. So maybe someday soon.
Yeah, maybe.
New Year's resolution.
Ooh, I like that.
All right. Just one Zelda game, New Year's resolution.
Yeah, I mean, that's still a lofty goal, but yeah.
And it gives you, oh no, this is a friend message. Sorry. A Fortnite friend message. Now they got me all screwed up. It's not about playing. So go play. I'm sure, as some of you already know, go play some games, and maybe you'll come away feeling more calm, relaxed. Maybe your day-to-day life will feel a bit more manageable, at least for a short period of time.
We can only hope. That's really all we can ask for these days.
Right? Manageable. We're looking for baseline manageable.
Mhm.
Moving on. Bloomberg had I could do a whole thing about this. I'm taking a sip. Bloomberg. I don't want to make this like a call out on a person in particular, but Bloomberg's articles, man, we've seen so many times where like their information appears to be incorrect or skewed, or like they make some like really wild claims or come to some really strange what's the word for something
Conclusions?
conclusion. I couldn't think of it. Really strange conclusions based on the data that they have or the inside information they supposedly have. So I don't know. And I'm not the only one saying this stuff. Friend of the site, one of my favorites, Matty Piss, the Circana man, he also pushes back on Bloomberg's features and has a few times in the past. So Matty Piss has got the actual numbers and data, and he'll be like, I'm paraphrasing, but like something came out recently from Bloomberg, and he's like, I don't understand how you say this. I don't understand how you think this based on what we know. He's like, I think he said it's wild. So this is a Bloomberg thing. So what I'm saying is don't take it as gospel because we don't know. And it's not like you can ask Nintendo about certain things because Nintendo just stonewalls and doesn't give you an answer. So here's the story. Bloomberg says, according to their sources, developers only have two options when it comes to Switch 2 physical game releases. They have a 64 gig game card or they have a game key card. So let's say that is true. If that is true, you would think a lot of developers and publishers would want that information out into the public because there are, I don't need to talk about how strong the sentiment is right now of people not liking game key cards because they don't want a physical release that requires them to download data to play a game. They want a full game on the game card. So, if this news is true, a developer would...
Is that what I sound like?
Look like... a developer, Nikki Hill, we speak your name again. A developer would look at the game that they want to release, and as long as it fits under 64 gigs, they'd go, well, we want to do a physical release so we can have a retail presence, but our game is 20 gigs, or our game is 30 gigs, or our game is 16 gigs, or our game is whatever. They're like, we don't need the 64 gig cartridge, and that's pretty damn expensive. We could go game key card and save money and still have a physical presence. So, for a developer that's putting out a 12 gig game on Switch 2, if this is true and you only have the 64 gig option for just your game card, otherwise you go game key card, then yeah, you could understand a publisher being like, well, we could save a lot of money on this and still have a physical presence. And I guess you could argue like they should just do it anyway because then the consumer wins and they get the game on the full game card. And yeah, I get it. I get what you're saying. But if you have a game that doesn't even take up half of what the storage space is on the game card, I really can't fault the developer or publisher for saying, why don't we save a lot of money instead and maybe put that towards marketing or whatever, or just save money in general, and go with the game key card? Like I think at the very least it would make some of the game key card people more sympathetic to the developer and publisher rather than like, now it's like a developer publisher says, here's our game for Switch 2. It's game key card. And they're like, screw that developer, screw that publisher. Why are they treating us like this? I think it would make at least some people more sympathetic and be like, if they only have one option and their game isn't anywhere near that amount of storage needed, then I can be sympathetic to that. I can understand that. And then, focus your anger on Nintendo, be like, Nintendo. I don't like that Nintendo. And be like, Nintendo, put out a midway option. Give them a 32 gig card that they can work with. So, again, this isn't about me defending Nintendo. I'm saying if this is the case, let's not be so harsh on the developers and publishers. Let's focus more on Nintendo and be like, hey, Nintendo, fix this. But again, it all starts with the base of what Bloomberg is saying, if it's true or not. And I honestly don't know. I've seen enough of their stuff that's so wishy-washy that I don't know what to believe. And we've tried to get comment from Nintendo, and surprise, surprise, they will not give us any specifics because sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. So if this is the case, I think we should be more sympathetic to developers and publishers, but you do you. If you don't feel that way, whatever. But it's interesting. It is interesting. If it's true, it's very interesting. And to show, here's a little inside baseball for you. To show how I feel about Bloomberg. Whenever we have something of note to share from Bloomberg, I make sure to mention Bloomberg in the title, just so you know what you're getting into, because of what I said. Comment. Zeldude says, can't wait to hear RMC explain what the game key cards are again to Nikki Hill. Well, I've been doubly blessed because I don't have to explain because Nikki Hill is not here. And Nikki Hill seems to be past that now. So I think we might be okay. But it's become a meme for the podcast. So I think it's just forever going to be a thing. But it'll be a fun thing. So there you go. We'll see what happens. We'll see if Nintendo puts out a statement. We'll certainly let you know if that's the case. Oh, good. This is Bloomberg right off the bat again. And this is, this parlays perfectly, segues perfectly into what I was just saying. Bloomberg again talking about third-party sales on Switch 2. And again, Bloomberg's like, we talk to people who are in the know, but we can't tell you who they are. They said that third-party sales were slower than expected on Switch 2. But the article has received considerable pushback from multiple people in the industry, including friend of the show, Maddie Piss. So here's what Bloomberg said. Quote, I'm quoting the article. Quote, developers hope Switch 2 would reverse the unfavorable trend that they're talking about slowing sales in the industry. A new console launch has always been a stimulus in the industry, and the Switch 2 has been met with a surge of record-setting sales. Nintendo console users are often casual players who still tend to buy traditional games with a definitive ending. But see, like, this is written by somebody who doesn't understand games. But the Switch 2 launch hasn't yet had such a halo effect, the makers said. They're talking about the game makers. Although in-house titles have proven popular, the much-anticipated console hasn't generated much benefits for most outside developers. Given the wider challenges around sparking sales of new software, game developers are wary about expanding their production pipelines. The Switch 2 hasn't delivered the boost for external developers that many might have hoped for. One publisher told me that Nintendo needs to remedy its treatment of third-party game designers if it wants to see them flourish on Switch 2. End quote. Now, that sounds more like it pertains to developers being like, we don't have dev kits yet for the Switch 2, and we want to put our games there. That's the thing we've heard from third parties, a lot of them. Literally, right before we started recording this podcast, I was talking to Nitrome, a third-party developer who wants to put out a game on Switch 2. They're doing mouse work for Switch 2, which will be a Switch 2 exclusive console-wise. And they started developing it before we even got the official reveal of the Switch 2. They developed it based on the rumors of there being mouse controls for Switch 2. Turned out to be true. So they got a game ready and they want to put it out on Switch 2, but they can't because they don't have a dev kit yet. And we were just talking about it publicly on X right before the podcast. So I think that last part is more about developers being like, we want to have dev kits so we can put out games, but we can't get them. So this whole article is very confusing. It seems to be like a mishmash of ideas and comments, and like it just doesn't make any sense for how long the Switch 2 has been on the market. Like there's so much in this article. As someone who has covered Nintendo for 20 years, I've been a Nintendo fan even longer. There's a whole bunch of things here that don't make sense to me. And I was like, is this just me? I don't know. And then other people started speaking out against it. And then Matty Piss came forward. And I'm going to say this. When Matty Piss has a comment or commentary on something, I consider that a stamp of approval. I trust the man. And he has literal data on sales stuff and can look back throughout history to be like, look, this is how all these systems did. This is how third-party sales were. This is how systems work when it comes to third-party sales. Like, this is how the history of gaming shows us that this is how things work. Oh, somebody's mentioning me on Twitter, on X. What is this? I gotta look at this in a second. So Matty Pitts put out something directly about this article, in response to this article, and he says this, quote, "Wild take. You can only sell so many consoles in a few months. No console, not PS4, Wii, or any of them, significantly boosted total market while moving their first few million units. The thing just launched. What in the world?" End quote. So Matty Piss is very aggressively pushing back on what this article has written, and he is, for lack of a better term, a historian when it comes to sales data for game systems. He's been doing it since, I would imagine, the GameCube days. So he knows how this stuff works, and he's like, historically, we have never seen this happen, no matter how big the system was. The PS4, the Wii, it just doesn't happen at this point in the system's life. It's not a thing. So he put that out there, and I'm Team Matty Piss. And I'm not Team Matty Piss because he's painting a rosy picture. I'm Team Matty Piss because he's got the data, he's got the information, he's got the facts, and he knows the historical...
Three things a lot of people don't really believe in anymore. So
he knows the history of how these things work. So I tend to align with what he's saying. Entropy says, new games, not just old ports people have already played. And it says that in capital letters. The psychology of writing like this is fascinating. I actually did feel a bit good. I will also add that I've said this before, exclusives, specifically ones that are built for Switch 2 using its features. Hope we get to see more games like Requiem that release alongside other systems. Personally, only getting that on VR if it comes. Oh, well, again, it's Bloomberg, so I should wait for something official. Well, you got your statement from Matty Piss. And yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with being like, I want exclusives on Switch 2 that are brand new. And first party has certainly given us that. Third party, there are, what is there? It depends on what your term for exclusive is. Like, there's Daemon X Machina, the sequel, which came out on other systems and Switch 2 at the exact same day. So I count that one because you're not going to get that on Switch. And it's not like a Switch 2 only thing, but it's a Switch 2 exclusive. So that Matty Piss is posting right now. What's he posting?
oh my God, is he listening? And that's what someone tweeted
I
you?
swear to God, the amount of times I post about the amount of times I see a notification from Matty Piss and I click on it and it's been deleted, it's not that insignificant. The man posts something and it has like a typo, or like as soon as he posts it, he thinks better of it and then like gets rid of it. I don't know, but I clicked and it's gone. Whatever it was, there's nothing here. I clicked on it instantly and there's nothing here. Whatever. So yeah, I'm all about, I've said that song and dance about the PlayStation 5 for a long time. Give me exclusives. We went years where I felt like we had such a drought of exclusives. But on the Nintendo side of things, that's you get first party exclusives. We've already seen so many, I shouldn't say so many. We've already seen a very good amount of first party exclusives from Switch 2 or on Switch 2 from Nintendo. But third parties, yes. And we have Requiem coming on February 27th, February 26th. And that's uber exciting. I will be getting that day one on Switch 2. No doubt about that. And if you've been paying attention to the coverage from TGS, the game is hands-on at TGS. So you can go play the Switch 2 version of Requiem. There's been all kinds of side-by-side comparisons and information about how it runs. And it seems to be a stellar port, which is wonderful. So Capcom's really doing it up for Nintendo fans there. That's awesome to see. But yes, there are others coming. Here we go. Matty Piss has put his post up. He says, things are tough, but at least I can enjoy the latest Game Informer with a fine cigar on a lovely Saturday afternoon in the garage. And he's reading Game Informer magazine. There you go. Matty Piss, a man of the people.
Notice me, senpai. Notice me.
So there's that. And, next round of Circana data comes out early October. And we'll have some stats on third-party games for Switch 2.
MTV is out, and
That's right.
is in.
That's right. Oh God, this is gonna be. It's one of these shows.
I'm the star of the show.
We had like a heated not heated, but we had like a. It wasn't a heated. It wasn't heated coverage, but it was like
Contentious?
the two things I just did are just frustrating,
Mm.
and we're gonna go into one that's even worse.
I think I know the one you're talking about.
Oh, you do. I have to message Quince to beg him for help on something.
Do you think this music will be helpful?
I'm sorry, I'm doing pod. Is there any chance you could look into this? And I send him a secret link that nobody knows about. And we wait. And then I say in all capital letters, I'm so sorry, exclamation points. Say this again?
Just making sure the camera can't see your phone.
No, nobody see nothing. Okay. And now we will go into one that is not fun to cover, but okay. You know what? I'm going to cover this factually. MomBrain, you are never on a leash. You are free to say whatever you would like. Just whatever. Oh, God. So, thank you to Nintendo, who pointed this out to me very shortly after it happened. And I always include the name of the tipster in the post when they send something in. And I said to him something along the lines of, due to the nature of this, would you like me to include your name as a credit? Because it's a sensitive subject. And they said something along the lines of, I ain't scared, do it. So there you go. Thank you, Nintendo. Oh, this is funny. Sorry, Quincy messaged me. Thank you. And I gotta tell him, please. I'm sorry, this is so annoying. Please credit.
And Nintendo is in
Okay.
Discord and says, "That's me. You're
That's
welcome."
him. So this week,
Japanese scientists.
displaced. That's a
Placed. Explaced.
that's a Napoleon Dynamite joke, people. Okay.
Explosive.
The Department of Homeland
At the bottom of Lake
Security
Loch Ness.
has been spending time doing things. Let's just say that. And on social media,
Kidnapping people.
they tend to do a lot of memes about what they're doing.
Yes, that's correct. Our government is dealing in memes.
So the Department of Homeland Security and ICE, who's going around and rounding up people they believe should not be in this country, they put out a meme video of them going around and scooping people up and putting them in handcuffs and making them disappear. They put out a meme video that had Pokemon the series, the original theme song, playing in the video. And it also had imagery from Pokemon the series, Ash and all that. So the song was Gotta Catch 'Em All, the classic Pokemon theme song, as they showed footage of people being rounded up.
Rounded up to be detained and separated from their families and their lives for no reason.
Like I said, I'm going to let MomBrain do whatever she wants. I will say personally, I kept the article very factual, as I
Yes.
always do.
Yes.
Personally, since we get into personal stuff on the podcast, I obviously do not agree with what they are doing. I know this isn't a political podcast. I know you guys know our politics, so should be no surprise that we are not in alignment with what Department of Homeland Security or ICE is doing. And that's where I'll leave my statement for now. We'll see what happens. But anyway,
I would like to just briefly make it a point to say that if you are...
Okay, angle that more towards your mouth.
I feel like it's important that everyone, does what they can and what is safe to speak out. if you're in a place of safety and privilege and can do that. And so I like that you
I like that autistic man.
I like that you covered it factually.
Oh, this is me. Wow, thank you. I painstakingly wrote this.
On GoNintendo, because I do think that
I also felt a lot of pain while I was writing.
Okay, but so I have a couple of thoughts on this, but do you want to just get through the story
Thoughts
first
on
before
how I wrote it or the article?
Do you want to get through the news before
this post in general or the whole news?
The news on this post?
Yeah, I'll do my thing.
Go ahead.
So that came out. Obviously, Pokemon fans know that Pokemon Company would never approve this, did not sign off on this, were never asked about it. Like, we already knew all that, but obviously it was brought to their attention. It became a huge news story. As I said in the article, there's no doubt Pokemon Company has very little interest in being drawn into a legal battle about this, but Pokemon Company also defends their IP vigorously. But I imagine at the time that Pokemon Company most likely would not do anything legally about it just because of what could happen. So he posted that. Then Don McGowan, who's the Pokemon Company's ex-legal chief, shared a statement on this, and he said, quote, I don't see Pokemon Company doing anything about this for a few reasons. First, think of how little you see the Pokemon Company's name in the press. They are insanely, capital letters, publicity shy and prefer to let the brand be the brand. Second, many of their executives in the USA are on green cards. Even if I was still at the company, I wouldn't touch this. And I'm the most trigger-happy chief legal officer I've ever met. This will blow over in a couple of days, and they'll be happy to let it. Then we have a subsequent update after that. Pokemon Company shared a statement saying this, quote, we are aware of a recent video posted by Department of Homeland Security that includes imagery and language associated with our brand. Our company was not involved in the creation or distribution of this content, and permission was not granted for the use of our intellectual property, end quote. So Pokemon Company making it very clear they had no part in any of this and did not approve it. They obviously didn't share any statements about potentially doing anything legally because, as I guessed outright, and I'm sure anybody else knows, they probably aren't going to because of what could happen. And they do not want to get their employees in trouble and, draw attention in general. This is a personal note for me. It's that sad to see. Yes, because based on how I feel and MomBrain feels, you have to speak up about this kind of thing. But on the other hand, I also understand why they would not want to be drawn into this because they see it would hurt their employees and also hurt their image. And there's a whole bunch of things to consider. I'm not saying what they did is right or wrong. I'm saying I can see why they put out a statement and are probably leaving it at that because I'm sure someone in there is like, how could we possibly navigate this and not to our detriment in multiple ways? And I don't know that there is a way to do that. I really don't. So I will say I'm disappointed that they didn't do anything. I am not surprised that they didn't do anything. I am happy they put out a statement making it clear that they were not involved in this, but I would have loved to have seen more pushback, but it's very easy for me to say that. So I don't know what to tell you. I can tell you in my personal life and MomBrain's life, we would, to our own detriment, push back, I'm sure. But, when you're a company, it's not like there's one person at the company who gets to make all the decisions. There's a head, but obviously they talk to everybody. So as a company, it's a tricky situation to navigate. And that is my piece.
So
I'm just letting you know, MomBrain's going to have a tough time.
There are several people in my life who I love so much. Lots of people who I care about, but there are specifically people who I love so, so, so much who are so directly and deeply impacted by some of this fascist behavior that we are seeing just lumped on top of bad things on top of bad things. And I what kills me is that you and I and our group of people are just a couple of people, and we don't have the money and the resources to fight the fight on a grand scale and to like move the needle in big ways, which isn't to say that we don't do what we can. So I get really sad and disappointed when I see opportunities for people and corporations with money and lawyers and power bow down to this stuff. I'm beyond the point where I can be just grateful that they made a statement. I'm sick of giving credit for saying the right thing. And they're protecting, make no mistake, they're protecting their IP by making a statement. And to say that they're protecting their employees by not pursuing this any further is bull shovel to me, because they have so much money and so many resources. And one of the first rules that you are taught when you are living through what you hope to be is the resistance is do not obey in advance. And like these big companies are just like afraid. And that's where my problem is.
The
And
vast majority of companies are going to go that route. Yeah, the protection of their brand and the wallet obviously
and
is what
like
speaks.
yeah.
By the way, as I want to make very clear, their ex-chief legal officer was the one who made the comments about protecting their former employees. That was not a sentiment I was echoing. I was saying that's what
Right.
he said.
I mean, I
want
know
to be
you
clear
and,
there.
yeah,
Yes.
I know you and I are
Yes.
in agreement.
We
And
are
you know
in
what?
agreement.
There was a time where I could have said, you know what? I get like that this isn't the hill you're going to die on because you put your employees at risk. But we're not talking about like a mom and pop shop down the street where like I could say like, sure, I understand like you don't have the resources. But again, like it's a beloved IP with tons of money and tons of resources. And if they're not doing something like I just don't know how. It just makes it hard to just keep the hope alive, but it also makes it easier for me to like dig in as a person and be like, well, they're not doing it. I can't talk about it anymore without like really losing it, because there are people that we just love so deeply who are so hurt by all of this, and people who I like don't get to see anymore, like people, it's just, and like the fear that I have, and like you're the Pokemon company, like you can help, like you have resources, and it seems like so silly for me to like get so worked up over it. It's the perfect example of how hope dies in a person. And so I suppose I also understand in like your coverage, it's important to cover facts in a way that is not in one way, or that is as unbiased as humanly possible, because you need the facts to get out there without
when
people
it comes
putting
to
up a wall.
Nintendo, that's what I do, minus op-eds, reviews, previews, impressions. That's where our opinions are. But we're not gonna like. I'm gonna be honest. I told my sister she wanted to write something about this situation. I was like, go for it. I don't know if she's going to or not. I know she will. Well, I can't say that. So it's out there because, I'm like, obviously covering Nintendo, I don't want to be drawn into this discussion because I'm like, I have my feelings in personal life and all that stuff. But like when it just comes to covering Nintendo, I would just like to cover Nintendo and talk about the Nintendo news and give people some sort of joy to be like, let's go to this website and read about Nintendo news and see what games are coming out so I can play and have fun. But I'm not going to ignore that this is happening because it's news. So I have to cover it. And I feel obligated to cover it because it would be wrong not to. But yeah, I just have to, I take like a robotic approach because I want to make sure I just get the facts of the story out there and let the people do the rest. And then if I feel so inclined, then I will write a feature on it. Like, and that's where I can go wild and say whatever I want because that's the place of a feature. That's what a feature is for. I don't feel I could elegantly say what I want to say, which is why I talk to my sister because that's her. Come on,
Mhm.
that's her bag.
And
So I was
it's
like,
nice that like you do have the podcast where we can have these conversations
Yeah.
and like, flesh it out. And I guess all of that is to say, don't lose hope, right? And I guess the lesson, not that we needed to learn the lesson, but a big corporation isn't saving us. So continue to organize and continue to, find joy somewhere. And I guess, again, I can't.
you have to speak directly into.
Sorry.
Yes, there you go.
Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
We might be angry with Pokemon Company, but let's look at Ash Ketchum as our inspiration because that boy never gave up.
That's right.
Kept the fight going.
Yeah.
Every setback, he just kept pushing through. And what happened? He eventually became the
very best.
So let us all be inspired by Ash Ketchum and Pikachu because
And-
they made it happen.
Part of me,
Insurmountable odds, with insurmountable odds ahead of them, they persevered. And so will we.
and part of me wants to be like, you know what? Let's show the Pokemon Company that not taking a stand
Makes us
is
take a
just
stand.
as bad
Yeah.
as taking the wrong stand. I, for one, will never buy another piece of Pokemon something in my life. Not that I
Or
ever really.
he probably isn't gonna.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there you go. I will say this. Are you good? You got your.
Yeah. Thanks.
Okay.
Appreciate that.
I will say this one thing. I am very happy with the vast majority of the comments on that story. I will say that.
I'm not surprised.
I am surprised because usually it is not that way. And I will say I'm very happy and proud to see that. So thank you, lovely people. And you probably know who you are if you're listening to this and align with what we're saying. So that is the serious part of the podcast over. Now let's get back to stupid stuff. Nintendo shadow dropped a game this week out of nowhere. We know a new Fire Emblem is going to Switch too, but apparently Nintendo had another Fire Emblem in the works. They shadow dropped Fire Emblem Shadows. Shadow Drop is you didn't know about this game, and here it is, and it's out now. That's exactly what they did. Fire Emblem Shadows is available now for free on mobile devices. It is a spin-off Fire Emblem game that introduces a new style of battle featuring role-playing and social deduction. So it's a little bit of Fire Emblem mixed with a little bit of Among Us or whatever. And that's what you get. I've heard it's not good at all. And that's why Nintendo shadow dropped it. But I haven't played it. So I don't know. I'm just telling you. I've heard it's terrible. But as we know with the internet, everything's terrible. So maybe there are people out there who like it. I don't know. I haven't played it. Should we get someone on the team to do a review? Maybe. Because it's free. They could download and try. Let's see what the first comment is.
It's free.
Vin Loria says, well, this came out of nowhere. Waifu Mungus. That's it, because it's a combination of Among Us and Fire Emblem, which is filled with waifus for a lot of people. So Waifu Mungus. If you are playing it, I hope you are enjoying it. But who knows? I don't know. I've only heard bad things. I don't know what to tell you. But don't take the internet's word for it. You go and make your own choice. And it's free, so why not? Literally Shadowdrop. That's right, Tall Show. If I didn't say hello to you, then hello. Moving on. Very quickly. I mentioned these, I believe, a week ago, and now they are available. If you are a Switch Online expansion pack member, you can now play Mr. Driller 2, the GBA game, on your Switch or Switch 2. And you can also play KLONOA Empire of Dreams. I could do an entire podcast about my love of KLONOA. I think pretty much everyone is in agreement that this particular KLONOA game is one of the best, if not the best. Whereas the mainline KLONOA games are platformers with very, very, very slight puzzling. KLONOA Empire of Dreams is a puzzle platformer. I remember loving it to death. I played through it back, and I don't do this. I played through it multiple times back in the day. I loved it. I even remember liking the story. I think KLONOA is such a strong mascot character design. It really does make me sad that KLONOA never really took off or got what I feel is deserved in terms of praise. I really feel that character design is so strong, just colorful, unique design. I find it very not sexually attractive, just appealing, attractive. I just really, really love that character. Like, it's just such a it sounds like I'm going crazy, but it's just such a striking design to me. There's just something about it's like a classic cartoon style mascot character where, like, if I saw it as a little kid, I'd be like, that is something I really want to follow. So KLONOA Empire of Dreams is a, if my memory does not fail me, phenomenal game. Go play it. I want to play it, and I have too many things to play, and I've already played it so many times, but go play it. The ruler of a distant empire suffers from a serious case of sleepless nights. In his torment, Emperor Julius passes a law forbidding his loyal subjects from ever dreaming again. This sounds like real life.
Oh my god, that
One
sounds
morning,
terrible.
our hero KLONOA and his friend Hupao find themselves in front of the Emperor, charged with dreaming of adventure, not allowed. As punishment for their crimes, they must defeat the 4 monsters that plague the land. Play as KLONOA and take down enemies with the ever trusty wind bullet. It's a ring with a little green gem on it. Shoot stuff out. Solve puzzles and collect helpful items like stars as you jump your way through 40 incredible stages. Help KLONOA in his journey to redeem himself and find out just why dreams have become so taboo. ... That's how you sell a game. Come on. If I read that, I'd be like, I gotta play this.
Yeah.
Dreams are forbidden? Why? That's what I want. I want it. Give it to me, Neil. Sticer says KLONOA. Oh, that was from last week. Yes. Comment. I updated the post. So we read those comments. We heard a lot about Final Fantasy VII this week in terms of, look at all the comments on that. In terms of the Switch 2 port that's coming up, because we know Final Fantasy VII Remake is coming to Switch 2 January 22nd, 2026. There will be a demo this year. Then Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is coming to Switch 2 as well. We don't know a release date, but I would imagine late next year or maybe midway through next year. And then we know Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3, which doesn't have a name yet, and it's the final of the remake series for Final Fantasy VII. It's also going to come to Switch 2 whenever that comes out. No idea. But a big showing of support from Square Enix in terms of Final Fantasy VII. But the director of Final Fantasy VII Remake says, quote, says this is, quote, not the end quote, of series support on Switch 2, written by the lovely, handsome Quince. In an interview with JP Games. No, that's a lie. In an interview with Inverse and JP Games. Final Fantasy VII Remake director Naoki Hamaguchi, had this to say, quote, with the release of the Switch 2, I do have this great sense of fate or kismet. I've been hearing a lot of people say kismet lately. I like it.
Yeah.
Music Man just said it last week, and I heard it before him too. I know the word. I've heard it before, but it seems like right now there's an uptick in it. I do have a great sense of fate or kismet with this one. Specifically, this is sort of the first mainline Final Fantasy to come out on a Nintendo console. This is certainly not the end, not just with the Final Fantasy VII series, but we want to continue to have the Final Fantasy franchise be loved by players around the world, and this is something we'll continue to strive to support. So recently we heard Square Enix basically was like, we're putting out these Final Fantasy mainline games on PlayStation, and they're not quite reaching the audience that we want them to. We should take a more multi-platform approach. And now you have the director here saying, like, guys, Final Fantasy 7, 1, 2, 3 remakes on Switch 2. And this isn't going to be the end of Final Fantasy as far as Switch goes. So Switch 2 goes. So that's really great to hear. So it makes you really hope that the next mainline entry of Final Fantasy will come to Switch 2, which would be so awesome to see because we have not had that. I want to say decades, at least over a decade, but decades. What was the last mainline Final Fantasy game that came out on a Nintendo system day and date with other systems? It hasn't happened. The last one was Final Fantasy VI. So Super Nintendo days. So it's been, decades since that happened. So if the next numbered Final Fantasy game comes out and they're like Switch 2, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, that'd be so cool to finally see that again. And it'd be extra, extra cool if they announced that during a Nintendo Direct. Could you imagine seeing that in a Nintendo Direct? The next mainline Final Fantasy game announced at a Nintendo Direct where it's like, oh my God, this era has finally come back because Final Fantasy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the spin-offs back in the day, those were Nintendo. You weren't getting them anywhere else. Nintendo or Super Nintendo. That was it. Then 7 came around and they were doing it for 64 and they were like, there's this new PlayStation thing. And then after that, it's been all PlayStation. Switch finally gave us ports of all the most of the Final Fantasy games we missed. But to get to a spot where we get the newest mainline entry as it heads to other systems, same date. We see Capcom doing that with Resident Evil. God, that would be cool. That would be really cool. That would be, for me, a scream, jump out of my seat moment to be like, holy crap. It's like I'm a little kid again. And that's when I was a little kid and I was too afraid to play RPGs. But it'd just be a cool moment to see. So these kind of statements here give us some hope that we could eventually get to that point again. Mr. Hamaguchi also said this, quote, I think it shouldn't stop at 7. I really want to see this for the future of all Final Fantasy. It's kind of a new start in some ways. We're opening up to all platforms to bring in as many new people as possible and get them on their journey with Final Fantasy. I see this as a new start for that, which is perhaps the most significant thing. Yes. If you have a mainline franchise and it's not first party, call me crazy, but I think you should be everywhere you can possibly be. I understand that God of War stays on PlayStation. I understand that Donkey Kong stays on Nintendo. I understand, for now, Halo stays on Xbox. I get it. Xbox is doing their own thing. So, Gears of War, and whatever. Xbox is doing whatever. But I understand that kind of stuff. But when it's a third party and you have a mainline franchise like Resident Evil or Final Fantasy or Metal Gear or whatever, if it's one of your core big franchises that people know you for, then yes, you should, as often as you can, bring those to every system. I understand that's not always possible, but to broaden the reach of your IP, which is the lifeblood of your company, you should probably try and bring it to everywhere that's viable to a degree where you are happy with what you can get out of it. So, obviously, like the latest Final Fantasy, whatever, I don't remember the number that came out. They couldn't really put that on Switch. I get it. Maybe they could have if they tried to do a port and whatever. But like with Switch 2, you're like, okay, I can kind of see how we can do this here. You okay over there? What are you doing?
Spiraling.
Yeah. Come back to me.
I'm coming.
Come back to me, MomBrain.
Here I am.
We're talking about Final Fantasy, your favorite thing.
Okay.
Zinc says, make an exclusive, Square Enix. You know you're at your best when you make Nintendo exclusives. You struck gold with The World Ends With You on DS and... Come on. An exclusive from Square Enix related to Nintendo. You played it. It's forever part of something I get made fun of.
Crystal Bears.
Very close. Crystal Chronicles.
Mm.
Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles. The Crystal Bears was the one on Wii. It's funny that you remember the name of that. Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles on the GameCube, and even Ring of Fates and Echoes of Time. Ring of Fates was Mom Touch the Crystal.
Yes.
Do one of those for Switch 2 and don't skimp on the online play. Well, from your text to Square Enix's ears, Zinc, I think we are heading in that direction. I think, at the very least, we'll see that happen a couple times, and hopefully it pans out well, and hopefully Switch 2 owners / Nintendo fans are there to be like, yes, we will support you. We'll see what happens. Square Enix also talked about game key cards. We're going back to that because as the game key card situation gets more hotly debated, more developers are coming out and saying things, and I'm sure
that what they sound
there
like?
are things they're not allowed to say, but they are trying to show the whole picture for why game key cards are chosen. And we have comment from
What a
what's
hole.
that for?
You said whole picture.
Oh, thank you. This is Mr. Hamaguchi again talking about game key cards in particular, asking for fans to be like, hey, just hear us out a little bit on this. This is through a translation, so there's a little bit of nuance that's lost, I'm sure, but here's what it says. Quote, I think perhaps the biggest issue for developers, certainly for people like us who make high-end HD games, is the loading speed on Switch 2. He doesn't say Switch 2, but he's talking about Switch 2. High-end HD games is the loading speed on Switch 2. It's kind of like, if possible, Nintendo fans to understand the key cards and maybe come to accept it as part of the culture of gaming on Switch 2 because it allows more opportunities. What he is saying is Final Fantasy VII Remake or whatever Final Fantasy VII mainline game or whatever Final Fantasy mainline games come out on Switch 2. They're obviously going to go to other systems as well. And they're saying, listen, the game card, not just game key card, not game key card at all, game cards, the speed of which data is streamed off the game cards is not viable for the type of games that we are making or how we make them. So we can't put out our game on a game card because speeds aren't there and the game wouldn't run correctly or the game wouldn't be feasible. So game key card lets us do a pseudo physical release. So at least they have a retail presence. You could go in a store and see it there. But it also is, that way they can release a game on the Switch too, because they don't have to worry about data being read off of a game card as a bottleneck. The game is just, digital and downloaded on the system, and the internals of the Switch with the data being right there, they don't need to worry. It allows for the streaming speed that they need of the data. So Final Fantasy VII, whatever, the third one, whenever that comes out, that would not be technically possible to put on a traditional physical game card on Switch 2 because the speed necessary from the game card is not there. So they could either do digital only with no physical presence at all, or they could do game key cards. So at least some people who are okay with that, but still want a physical representation of a game and the ability to put it on a shelf or trade it in, they can still get that. And as a stopgap, yes, I think that's fine. So we get Final Fantasy VII Part 3. We're getting it because it can be done through the Switch 2, through data transfer speeds inside the Switch itself, a Switch 2 itself. A game key or a game card doesn't allow for those speeds, so that's not possible. But we can still have some sort of retail presence, physical representation of the game, but it is game key card. And that's not even to mention these storage size. Like 64 gigs is not enough for Final Fantasy VII Remake. So it certainly won't be enough for Rebirth, and it won't be enough for Part 3. Like, those games do not fit in 64 gigs. They'd obviously would need to do some major culling and downsizing and stuff of that, and it would hurt the integrity of the game or the presentation of the game to a degree that Square Enix is not happy with or doesn't think is viable. So they're seeing this as the best possible answer, and Mr. Hamaguchi is like, hey, just hear us out a little bit on this. Obviously, there were a lot of comments on this post. I did not read them, but I'm going to read you the top one right now. Nathatruck says, game key card only have the bad part of physical games. It takes space in the house, need to be in the Switch 2 to be played, and doesn't save storage space and do nothing for preservation of games. I didn't buy any game key card bit saying that the game key card is the only physical option, but making Switch 1 and 2 games with no upgrade path just show that Square Enix wants us to buy the game key card so they can put all their games on game key card. I'm sorry, Square, but I'd rather buy the Switch 1 version to play on Switch 2 than buy a game key card. And SD Express are too expensive, so if a game is game key only, I'll pass. Again, it is your right to make whatever decision you want about your purchases. But I really think comments like this are being a little ignorant to the situation. There are games like Final Fantasy Final Fantasy Tactics, the Ivalice Chronicles, where that is put out as a game key card on Switch 2, but a traditional game card on Switch. You can buy the Switch version and get the upgrade to the Switch 2 version for free. So that gives physical fans a chance to buy a full-on cartridge version of Final Fantasy Tactics. You can have it on the Switch, then you download the upgrade for free on Switch 2. That's very nice, and that's viable, and it's still not as perfect as everything on Game Card because you need to download the upgrade for Switch 2, but it's much closer than Game Key Card. So to say Square Enix just wants everybody to buy Game Key Card, I think is disingenuous because we can see a situation where they are not doing that. You buy the Switch 1 version and you can get the upgrade for Switch 2. That is not possible for Final Fantasy VII Remake because that is not releasing on Switch 1. There's no version of that game for Switch 1. There's no upgrade path to be had because there's no game to upgrade. There's no Final Fantasy VII Remake for Switch 1. It's just not a thing. So I think this comment is a little disingenuous. That's just my take, but I'm not telling them they're wrong to make the purchase decisions they make and don't make.
Don't we have a That's Not Possible somewhere?
That's not possible.
Yeah. Who is that?
Is that Sonic?
No.
Oh, no, it's Fire Emblem. It's Fire Emblem.
Okay.
Find a Fire Emblem. It's Fire Emblem doesn't have its own page. It's miscellaneous.
Yeah.
You take your time and find it, and whenever you find it,
I mean, we have this.
That is not correct.
listen, that's not possible.
Yeah.
Hi,
where-
Kalas. Good to see you. Hi, William. Good to see you. So yeah, a developer coming out and being like, "Hey,
We have this.
It's not gonna
MomBrain.
happen.
just find it. There's no rush. Just go through the first page. And
That's not possible.
there we go. What's it called?
Fire Emblem. That's not possible.
There you go. So yeah, I think that the majority of you understand that and recognize it and are willing to have a little grace here. But there are many who are also like, I hate game key cards. I hate anyone who does them, and there's no good reason for them, and there's no explanation, and I won't give any grace to anybody. And if that's what you want to do, A, it makes me sad. B, it's your right. You go ahead and do it. So, and again, I will once again say, I also wish we lived in a world where game key cards weren't a thing and every game was on cartridge and you didn't need to download. That would be the perfect world, but that is not where we are. And as far as what is available right now, it is not possible or viable. Maybe Nintendo is looking into something. I don't
That's
know.
not possible.
So I also don't like the situation, but I am willing to hear developers out on what they say. And I believe Mr. Hamaguchi's comments on this make sense. And I understand what he's saying. So yes, in certain situations, I am more than willing to give grace with these releases. So, but that's me, and you don't have to do that. We're gonna skip that. Continuing with the Final Fantasy theme. Final Fantasy VII. Is this Hamaguchi again? Hamaguchi. Yeah. Yes, it is. It's Hamaguchi talking about the significance of this Final Fantasy VII stuff for Switch 2 beyond just, the game going to Switch. So this guy has done multiple interviews where he's really trying to drive the point home of being like, us bringing this game to Switch 2 is more than us just supporting Switch 2 of Final Fantasy 7. He's showing like this is a significant moment for Square Enix and Nintendo. He says, quote, I think there is a huge significance here in terms of this multi-platform development. Certainly, the move to Nintendo Switch 2 is perhaps the biggest part of that. As a child, I loved the Final Fantasy series. I was a fan. I remember the evolution of the Final Fantasy series. Final Fantasy 7 is somewhat symbolic of that change in direction of the Final Fantasy series. Obviously, that was when it moved from Nintendo hardware, which it had been on up until then, to the PlayStation. And it went on its own evolution on the PlayStation from there. The fact that we can now come back to the Nintendo hardware, I think that is symbolically very important. Well, you know what? I think that too. You heard me talk about it earlier. And they're making the point of being like, this isn't the last time you're going to see this. So that's, I think, very exciting. And I love that he's really driving home the point of being like, hey, I was a kid. I played Final Fantasy on Super Nintendo and NES, and then it went PlayStation, and now we're coming back to Nintendo, and I think it's pretty symbolic. So very cool to see that. And then just as a longtime gamer, it warms my heart a little bit because the older gamers will remember those years where Squaresoft, then Square Enix eventually, did not put out games on Nintendo systems because Nintendo was very hurt by the move that Square Enix made, and it caused bad blood and blah, 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 blah. But eventually that changed when the two companies mended their ways. I believe Iwata had a good part in that, where he was like, why is this happening? We should not be doing this. We should be talking to them and figuring out a path forward. And that's what happened. And it was cemented with the release of Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles. And I would say Square Enix has been a wonderful partner for Nintendo in all the years since. And now it appears it will only get better.
You're a wonderful partner for me.
Wow. Thank you. You are too. Buns says, I sold my PS5 the day they made the announcement. I now officially have no reason to own that system. Is Buns telling the truth? Is Buns being, is that a little hyperbole for Buns?
How does Buns spell their name?
You tell me.
B-U-N-Z.
That is correct.
I love it.
Buns, we speak your name and we question, is this truth? Is this a little bit of fun on the internet? I don't know, but I'm very curious. Buns, if you're a listener, I'm asking you, leave a comment. Let me know. Email me. I want to know. The people want to know if Buns is telling the truth. Did Buns, in an
Let's have a little fun.
unbelievable showing of allegiance and support to Nintendo, sell his PS5?
My Emperor, I failed you.
I'm gonna
Hello,
say,
Blood Ocean 07.
What do you think? Yes or no? Did they actually sell it?
Yeah.
I'm going to say yes as well.
Mhm.
I'm going to give them a week to reply. We'll see if they do. And the last big top story before we get to our releases, of which you will be playing the part of Nikki Hill. So long, Doug Bowser. That's a meme on what people thought Bowser or Mario was saying in Super Mario 64. So long, gay Bowser. And I still, to this day, say it sounds like he's saying so long, gay Bowser.
I got it.
It's so long, gay Bowser.
Thank you so much for playing my game.
We're whatever. I know the important story is Doug Bowser's leaving, but we got to get to so long, gay Bowser. So long, gay Bowser. It's coming, I promise. Come on. It's clear as day. It's just like a so long, gay Bowser. You know, like he's doing, Martinet's doing like his Italian thing. So it's so long, gay Bowser. But it sounds like so long, gay Bowser.
So long, gay Bowser.
Come on. MomBrain, what's he saying?
So long, gay Bowser
There you
is
go.
definitely.
Thank you.
What the heck?
So Doug Bowser has announced his retirement from Nintendo of America. He's not gone yet. But
We wish you all the best, Douglas.
Doug less Bowser at Nintendo. See what I did there? You said Douglas. I said Doug less Bowser. Oh boy. There we go. Thank you. I knew it was either going to be that or modest applause. So I'll take it. Bowser will be leaving on December 31st, 2025. He will be succeeded by Devon Pritchard, a 19-year veteran of the
You're going to say
game.
19-year-old
A 19-year-old.
who has an uncle that works for Nintendo.
19-year veteran of the video game industry and long-standing member of Nintendo of America leadership. In addition, Satoru Shibata, who's been a part of Nintendo forever, will now be joining Nintendo of America as CEO, while continuing his roles as managing executive officer and corporate director, member of the board of Nintendo Company Limited.
Excuse me.
Mm.
Well, I'll wait till you're done.
What, is this important?
No.
You got to get up or something? Just do it.
No. I know that I work in public education and special education at that, and even
Toot,
a
toot.
subset of, are you saying I'm tooting my own horn?
Yeah,
Oh.
it was a joke.
Like a very specific subset of
Jokester.
special education, and I use a lot of acronyms, right?
Yes.
But like, it always feels really silly when I hear people talking about like corporate jobs, and it's like some dude couldn't handle not being the boss. So it's like, I know there's the CEO, but you're going to be the CMO. It's just as important, and it's super cool. Like, they give all these like crazy, like chief managing officer and chief executive like all these crazy names. What do they mean?
Hi, Blood Ocean. You do this all the time, and I talk to you about this all the time. You say acronyms for work stuff, where I'm
I
like, nobody
understand.
knows what that means.
Right, I get that.
What does it
But
actually mean?
that's-
It's a title that means you get more money. That's
Well,
what it
it's
means.
sure, we all do. That's what I find like gross and funny about it is it's like literally like, oh, we got to make these dudes feel better about themselves so that all of these titles sound really important.
I'm sure at some point that's where.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right. And then it just continued because of guys. So yeah. Whatever.
Yeah.
But we don't want to speak about guys. We want to speak
No,
about
we don't.
women.
That's
because,
right.
Devon Pritchard is Nintendo of America's first ever female president. Here's a little story I don't think I've ever told.
But I've seen everything.
I met Doug Bowser
We got
years ago. I want to say.
Wait, who did you meet?
So long, Doug Bowser.
No, who did you meet?
Doug Bowser.
Wow.
Oh,
I wanted you to feel good about it.
thank you. And he was very friendly, but he was like, he knew, or I was good at pretending he knew what GoNintendo was. According to the conversation, he knew. And he was like, oh, I want to introduce you to somebody. And he introduced me to Devon, who I don't remember what her position was at the time. But he's like, I really want you to get to know Devon. She's really great, and blah, blah, blah. And I talked to Devon, and she was...
And you were like...
I wouldn't have a problem.
She was very friendly and very nice and welcoming, and I really had a great conversation with her, and I chatted with her a couple times since. And I'm like, holy crap, Doug Bowser introduced me to Devon, and now Devon's going to be the president of Nintendo.
Sure, why not?
So now I got to dig through my email to be like, hey, Devon, interview? But she's not going to do it, but...
You never know.
No, yeah, she hasn't done interviews with anybody yet. I mean, I can try, but
You'd be like,
Hi, how are you?
listen, I got Reggie to write something for the site, and I had to go through all kinds of approval, but that happened back in the day. So yeah, it can happen.
My body is ready.
that's what I heard that he said.
So congratulations, Devon. Best of luck, Doug, and all your future endeavors.
And you know what? In a time where the world feels like a big honking pile of steaming doo-doo, it's nice to see a woman
Name a woman.
take over.
Doug says, quote, today, this wasn't today, but obviously at the time, today I announced my plan to retire from Nintendo effective December 31st, 2025. Nintendo has been an integral part of my life for 44 years, starting with Donkey Kong Arcade as a kid in college. It has been an honor to contribute to this incredible company and bring our beloved characters and worlds to fans through our video games, theme parks, and movie experiences. I extend my best wishes to Devon Pritchard as she leads Nintendo of America forward, and thank all of you for your passion and support of Nintendo. And you can count on me to remain a Nintendo fan. Doug Bowser is 3 years older than Reggie was when Reggie retired. Doug Bowser is 60. Reggie was 57 at the time of retirement. So there you go. That's when you're spent. That's when you're too old. That's when they take you out the pasture and put you down. So long, Gay Bowser. Gone. Listen.
What's wrong with you?
The horses, when their legs don't work, they take them to the glue factory and they give them a 21 gun salute.
To your doom.
And then you make glue, and children do arts and crafts and projects at school. It's a lovely circle of life. Some kids eat the paste, and that means they're eating horses. Think about it.
I don't think
You probably ate horse.
nobody uses paste anymore.
Is this true? I feel like I haven't seen paste in forever.
Yeah. Now,
What do you get for why paste over glue?
we'll use glue sticks now.
No, why paste over glue?
Well, because so glue in like the the Elmer's glue or whatever, the liquid glue.
Yes, I've heard.
The kids don't know how to use it
Mm.
like responsibly, so they just
probably
like
ate it a lot. They probably
Well,
ate it a lot.
maybe, but the point is that they just squeeze it everywhere, whereas paste you can sort of like limit. So now that we have glue sticks, but I think paste is
How much paste did you eat back in the day?
I don't think I ever ate it, but I
close.
flipping
Loved the smell.
loved the smell.
Yep.
And I don't know about you, but we had a paste helper. Like, so that was one of the classroom jobs, and you filled the paste pots.
I'll
and
have you
I
know.
loved when Mrs. Rooney, bless that woman, gave me that job.
Do you remember my parents? They have the Thanksgiving turkey hand thing that I made.
Mhm.
That was made with paste.
Did
I
you
remember
eat paste?
pasting it. I don't ever remember eating paste, but I remember smelling it and thinking about eating it. Yes.
I never thought about eating it based on
I'm
the
gonna go all
smell.
paste diet, I think.
I just love the way it smelled. I did, however, eat homemade Play-Doh. I think I was not like a lot of it. I tasted. How about that? I tasted homemade Play-Doh. I was too afraid of eating commercial Play-Doh because,
You want me to eat it right now?
I thought I was going to get poisoned.
I'll eat it right now.
No, I don't. Did you ever make Play-Doh? I should make you Play-Doh.
Yes, I did. No.
I could send
I
it
need the
for
real
you.
deal. Thank you. I need the real. Well, you know what? I'll let you make it because you
Yeah,
probably do really good.
yeah.
What's it going to smell like? Limes? What's that?
Hmm?
George,
Sure.
you want some lime Play-Doh? George? Come in, George. Oh.
What? I'm sorry.
Lime Play-Doh. Would you like some?
Sorry, I was all puckered out.
You can't eat it. It's just for playing with. You could shape it into a lime if you want.
Yeah, I'll give it a try.
MomBrain, next week, by this time next week, will you have homemade Play-Doh for us?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
done.
can't. I don't think I'll have it be lime.
Whatever you want.
Yeah,
Orange.
I'll find something.
Cotton candy.
I'll find something.
Horse.
Stop.
Horse scent.
Stop.
First comment. A lot of comments on this.
Tasty.
Popple says, "Can we start a petition to get Devon to change her last name to Wart?" I mean,
That's not possible.
Our Nintendo presidents now have to have Nintendo related names. Yeah, we can't just have Devon Pritchard. It's got to be Devon Wart.
Then
That'd
what
be
would she
great.
sound like
Whatever character she is.
if her last name was Wart?
Does Wart make a noise?
I thought Wart made a noise.
I don't remember him making a noise that was any different
does
than
the
like a Birdo noise.
Was that Birdo that made the?
Birdo's noise is more like this. I'll do my best.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to say
Boo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Yeah, I heard that a lot.
more often that one than
No.
yeah, goodbye, Doug. You will be missed by some and not missed by others, but I think you're a nice guy and whatever. I got nothing bad to say about you. You're boring, but who cares? You're a president. Listen, Reggie was one of a kind, at least personality-wise.
Boring.
Oh, I saw something today
Boring.
on TikTok where it was like, the Democrats do not have a person that we can get behind as a presidential nominee that'll really wow the people and get people excited. He's like, you need somebody with no political experience, but has operated in spaces where you got to do wheeling and dealing. You need somebody with a personality that just is people gravitate towards. And he's like, long story short, Reggie Fils-Aimé. He needs to be. It's like, that would be really funny. And he showed a clip at the end of Reggie saying, "My body is ready." So there you go, Reggie for president. Would you vote Reggie for president?
Yes.
There you go.
I
Even with his
mean,
stance on unions.
Yeah, I don't know. And now that I mean, I guess do I want him to be president? No, but if they put him up as my candidate, I'd have to vote for him.
I could give you a candidate who you'd vote for instantly. Miss Piggy.
Yeah.
How about Alf?
No.
You wouldn't vote for President Alf because he'd make people eat cats.
Anti-cat.
Yeah, you're right.
You know who I'd
He's
vote for
not
president?
anti-cat. He's
Kyle
very
MacLachlan.
pro-cat, just eating.
Kyle MacLachlan. I'd vote for him.
I would not vote for him.
Why
I
not?
need to hear what you're actually going to do in office, right? Like, there's plenty of great people.
I
need
feel
to
like
hear
his
your
platform would be, I guess you're right, but I think he'd have a great platform.
like talking to a log to get answers or something.
That's actually more sane than what is presently happening in America. So
Presidently happening. There
I'm
you go.
wearing my log lady shirt right now.
Oh my God. All right. Here's what you got in North America. Let me tell you. North America this week. If you have a Switch 2, you can get EA Sports FC 26. You can get Final Fantasy Tactics: The Ivalice Chronicles on September 30th. Hades 2 is available on Switch 2, which gets you 120 frames per second. Kukiyomi 4 Consider It Switch 2 edition, which now has mouse minigames added to them. And you know what? They look pretty funny. We did a post about it. Shape Hero Factory and The Tourist Deluxe are also available on Switch 2, as is Pac-Man World 2 Repack. That is correct. There is a specific Switch 2 edition of that if you would like it. What's available on Switch? Agatha Christie, Death on the Nile, starring her famous detective. Come on, book person.
Sherlock Holmes. No, I can't get it in my
The
head.
man with the little mustache.
I know.
Hercule Poirot.
Thank you.
Airborne Justice, Animal Striker, Atelier Wrestleriana, The Red Alchemist, and The White Guardian. Buildist, Car Stunt Hero Simulator 2025. Chained Up Together, Claudon X3, which is a portmanteau of classic and dungeon. Claudon.
Oh, well put.
Class of Heroes, The Ultimate Trilogy, Clothing Boutique Simulator, Store Manager, Court of Darkness, Temptations Kiss.
Like the cat treats?
Yes.
Give me that Temptations
Detective
Kiss.
Scene Crime, Drift Highway Retro Console Edition, EA Sports FC 26, the Switch Edition, Endo Parasitic, Extremely Powerful Capybaras is available. MomBrain, look into it. Final Fantasy Tactics: The Ivalice Chronicles Switch Edition on September 30th. Gearbits, Grief Like a Stray Dog, Hades 2, the Switch Edition. Hyper Team Recon, Jamboy, a Jellylicious Hero, Jellyfish Girls, Kingdom Shell, Lego Party on September 30th, Love Ghosty on October 1st, My Child of Ages, Mamorukun Recurse, Meteor Fall, Crummets Tale, NBA Bounce, Nicktoons, and the Dice of Destiny on September 30th. Ninja Ming, Notice Me Lena Senpai on October 1st.
Notice me, Senpai. Notice me.
Off the Ground Survival on October 1st. Only Go Up 2. Out of Moves, Another Try. Pac-Man World 2 Repack, the Switch Edition. Path of Legends, Penguin Panic on October 2nd. Road Cafe Simulator. Perfect time of the year for this one. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer is available on Switch. Scribed Castle, Sherlock Spot DX, Sonic Racing Cross Worlds is available. That's a big one. Remember, that is coming to Switch 2 at some point. We don't know the date. Space Hole, Super Long Cat, The Beast and the Princess, The Order of the Snake Scale. Sorry, MomBrain. Tidy Toys, Trippy Traders, Schedule and Sell Candy, Uni 2, and finally Viking Colony Builder Valhalla. Rick Filet says, I've always wanted to play a Kukiyomi game. Now the newest one has come to Switch 2 edition. I think I'll Consider It. That's funny because the name of the game is Kukiyomi Consider It. This is a solid week for major release. It seems like there's a little something for everyone. I agree with that. It's a very solid week. Big names, small names, big games, small games, big wieners, small wieners. MomBrain, will you play the part of Nikki Hill?
No, but I will read the sweet releases.
Nikki Hill, we speak your name. Josh, could you do it up, please?
What are the next European
And I'm going to pee.
masterpieces? Let's find out with Nikki's sweet releases.
Okay, well, this isn't terrifying that it's just us here. Okay, everybody. We've got Agatha Christie, Death on the Nile, Backyard Pirates, Blippo Plus, Blocky Rush, Mega Obby, Car Parking Garage Simulator, Cat Needs, Contraband Border Police Simulator. Ew, that's disgusting. And if you get that game, you gross me out. Court of Darkness, Temptation's Kiss, a cat kissing story. Detective Crime Scene, DreamWorks Gabby's Dollhouse, Ready to Party, Drift Highway Retro Console Edition, EA Sports FC26, Electronics Puzzle Lab 2, Endoparasitic, Extremely Powerful Capybaras. That's plural, so there's more than one of them, presumably. Fast Food 2025 Simulator and My Side Reality. Yeah, had to make sure that wasn't realty. Folly of the Wizards. Yikes, that sounds dangerous. Games Advent Calendar 2025 Bundle. Gearbits. Hades 2. Horror Night with Tongue Sahur. Sorry. Tongue Sahur. Oh, Tung Sahur. Okay. Hike Northern Lights, and that's Hyke. So I hope I pronounced that right.
Yeah, I don't know how to say it, but that's what I would say.
Or maybe Heek. Hyper Team Recon, Jam Boy, a Jelicious Hero. Sorry. Jellyfish Girls, Kwai Girls, Mighty Mongolian, Korean Drone Flying Tour, Wonsan-do, Mamorukun, Recurse, Marissa of Leah Top Mountain, Maxi Trucks Racing, not to be confused with Maxi Pads Racing.
You could race them.
You could. Meow Moments celebrating beats and books.
Oh.
Meteor Fall, Crewmit's Tale. Sorry, Miss Biggie, not Kermit. Crewmit.
Knockoff version.
Mm-hmm.
Jim Hornson and Crewmit.
Jam Hornson presents.
I love that Jam Hornson. With the Meepits.
With the Meepits. Neko Ramen. Or Nico Ramen.
Is that a reboot? Did you just reboot?
I probably did. Ninja Ming. Only go up 2. The number 2. Out of moves, another try. Well, if you're out of moves, you probably shouldn't get another try. But
excuse me. It's like The Price is Right when it says hole in one, and then they hit the button that says hole in one or two.
Hole in 1 or 2. Path of Legends, Pixel Game Maker series, Stray Witch and the Ghost Train. That's all one thing. Port Logistics Simulator, Dockside Harbor Handling. Project 7 Escape Room. Road 59, A Yakuza's Last Stand. Road Cafe Simulator. Sky Love Boys Flight Attendant Crush. Sky Love Girls Flight Attendant Crush.
There we go.
Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. Space Hole Super Long Cat. The Beast and the Princess. The Order of the Scale. Tidy Toys.
The word MomBrain skipped was snake.
Gross.
She wouldn't say it.
Trippy Traders. Schedule and Sell Candy. UNI2. The letters U and I. All capital. With periods in between, so.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Wander Stars and Wizardom.
MomBrain, did you do the Switch 2 titles at the top? I don't know.
Oh, no. I wasn't sure. Switch 2 downloads are EA Sports FC26, which we'll be bringing up when we talk about game sales, I'm sure. Hopefully, if we're smart. It's usually
you
one
remember it, yeah.
Hades 2, Relayer Advanced Definitive Edition, and the Tourist Deluxe. And we've got
Is
a
there
comment.
there, MomBrain?
There sure is, and it's from Nico Darunia 2 days ago. Is that what Nikki Hill sounds like?
This week it is, yeah.
I'm your Nikki Hill now.
Thank you, MomBrain.
The pleasure was mine entirely.
And that is your news. I feel like we had quite the discussion this time. MomBrain.
Yes.
CBS News just sent me an email. Boys to Men, why America's sons are struggling. Across America, men are falling behind economically, educationally, and at home.
No,
This later chapter of a story decades in the making.
Stop.
Men are falling behind. MomBrain, what are we going to do about men?
I don't think we have that, do we?
Don't.
But we do have...
What rules?
What rules, you sons of bitches?
MomBrain, what'd you play this week?
I didn't play anything. Also, the men are feeling sad and lonely.
The opinions of men feeling sad and lonely are those of MomBrain.
I hope that no one feels sad and lonely.
There we go. Farmers only.
Well, there's a couple people I hope feel sad and lonely, but they won't.
Both?
So.
Are there people you hope feel lonely but not sad, and people you hope feel sad but not lonely?
I'll take whatever I can get for those people,
Gotcha.
But both would be optimal. Though I think I would prefer to wish loneliness upon my enemies over sorrow.
I think this is something you would actually agree with if you read the whole synopsis here, but it'll be streaming tomorrow.
Okay.
And that's tomorrow. You didn't play anything?
No.
Oh, okay.
How about you? What did you play?
Thanks for asking. I played Fortnite. We got some Fortnite in this week. Really loved it. I was telling MomBrain, I was recounting my war stories to MomBrain earlier today about how I had some great victories in Fortnite last night with friends and family. Had some victories that ended with hammer hits, which is fantastic. I love it. The swinging the hammer down to the ground, the slow-mo, the victory royale. It's I'm so happy the hammer's back. I'm all about it. The Power Rangers Megazord is in there right now. And it is, as someone who, I don't deeply love the Power Rangers, but I do deeply love the idea of the Power Rangers. I love kaiju. I love people coming together to fight. I love big robots. I love all of it. So with the Megazord in the game, love it. I got into Megazord with friends and I got into Megazord with family, and it was a ton of fun. So you get in, one person has to get the Megazord capsule. You see the Megazord pieces fly in. It forms into the Megazord.
But I've seen everything.
It lands on the ground, and then there's a Zordon capsule. Zordon puts out the call. Whoever gets to it first, your team gets to be in the Megazord. One person controls the walking and everything for the Megazord and some attacks. Everybody else in there has 2 types of attacks. So you're all doing things in the Megazord at the same time. You fight a giant bug, but then you also can just take out other enemies as well in the game, other players. And it's so much fun because when you get into Megazord, it's just like Power Rangers. You go into the scene where everybody's standing together and you do your poses, and then you zoom up into the Megazord and you see yourself in the cockpit, and then it zooms out to the Megazord's face, and then the camera pulls out for it. I love it. I couldn't love it more. It's one of my favorite things I've ever seen in Fortnite. It's just done so well, and it's so perfectly cheesy camp. And you hear Rita Repulsa scream, "Make my monsters grow," which is what she screamed in the show. And it's also very funny as an adult to hear "Make my monster grow" because we're all immature. So it's just great. I absolutely love it. It's so much fun. One of the moves, if you're piloting the Megazord, is a stomp. So you can literally just stomp down on people. It's great. Love it, love it, love it. So Fortnite surprise is lots of fun. It is also the 8th anniversary of Fortnite right now. So the battle bus is the birthday battle bus, and there's birthday cake out there to eat, and there's presents to open up, and streamers and decorations and balloons are back, and it's just fun, fun, fun. Love Fortnite. There's the Power Rangers. I don't remember what it's called. It's some kind of zapper. It's a gun that is a Power Rangers gun. It's really cool. I really like it. All the things in there right now are great. The Hollow is back, one of my favorite guns. So you got the Hollow, you got the zapper. The Wrecker is a great gun. You got the hammer in there. Oh, living the dream. Living the dream. Couldn't be happier with Fortnite right now. Got the Daft Punk Around the World emote. So it plays around the world in a perfect loop, and you do the dance from the music video, which is just somebody robot walking, but you can all do it together. It's the pinnacle of gaming, people. It's the pinnacle of gaming. Guys, in the Discord, tell me what you've been playing, and I'll make a point to get in here to read it. I promise I will. I will come back and Blade Blaster. Thank you, Drake. Yes, the Blade Blaster. I will go in and read things you've been playing if you want to share that with me. I promise I will look. So I've been playing that. And then I'm thinking literally the only other thing I played was Hades 2 because I had to do the review. So I put all my time and effort into Hades 2. You can go read the review right now. Thank you to those who did. I'm very happy with how it turned out. I had a different approach to the review in my head, and I tried to put it together in a way that I felt explained how I was feeling and why. And I know my reviews are often a little bit different from everybody else's. I feel like this one is considerably different, but it seems like it's gotten good feedback. So thank you for that. In my approach to the review, I made a point of saying, listen, everything in Hades 2 is top tier. Everything you loved about the original Hades is here. If you love the gameplay loop of the original Hades, that is here. You know, you start, you try and make your way out of the underworld. You fight progressively stronger enemies. Rinse and repeat. You're not going to be strong enough in the beginning to make it to the end. Most people are not going to be, myself included. You chip away. You earn abilities. You level up. You get new weapons. You get ways to survive longer and heal and blah, blah, blah. It's the same as Hades. The same rinse and repeat approach as it was in Hades. There's some new wrinkles in there. There's a new magic management system that's a little bit different from the first one. How you dodge is different in this one, or dash, I should say, is different in this one. So there's a whole bunch of new wrinkles. There's new things to get. You still give out gifts to everybody. Like everything you did in the first one is here, and it's exactly the same or slightly different. And then there's a couple new wrinkles in there as well that just add to the meta game.
Man, you just reminded me of fruit wrinkles again.
Fruit wrinkles.
I loved a fruit wrinkle.
Suck my fruit wrinkle.
Whoa!
So if you liked the first Hades, I would be shocked if you didn't like this one. Music is still phenomenal. The voice acting is top tier. Like it's all there. The artwork is lovely, absolutely lovely. The game runs like a dream. I'm playing the Switch 2 version. I'm sure it runs great on Switch just as the original did. Like again, it's all there. It is all there. Game of the year. I believe it's the highest rated game of the year right now. The first Hades won Game of the Year multiple times. All kinds of accolades and awards. Sold like gangbusters, to use an old person term. You've heard it all. But my focus in the review is, I talked about the other stuff, but my focus in the review is it enough for a sequel? Because it really does feel like you are playing an alternate universe Hades, where you're doing everything you did in Hades, except now you're a different character and the enemy designs are different. But everything else feels to me, or felt to me, exactly like Hades. And I'm not saying that's a right thing or a wrong thing or a good thing or a bad thing. I'm just saying that is something I felt. I felt it early on when I played, and as I continued through the game, I only felt it more. And what started off as like a little voice in the back of my head became something that was screaming as I made my way through the game. And I'm not saying it made for a bad experience. It didn't. And I'm not saying it's a detractor. It wasn't. It's just an interesting question that I feel became the focus of my experience because I kept thinking about it. And in my review, I likened it to other games where other sequels that were very much direct sequels, but I still felt were new experiences more so than Hades. So I talked about things like Mega Man. Mega Man 1 through 6, really all the mainline Mega Man games are pretty much the same, minus some little changes. You know, like Mega Man 3, you can slide, and you couldn't do that before. Mega Man 4, you get the charge-up shot, which is arguably more of a change than the slide. But let's be honest, when you get the power-up shot in Mega Man 4, that just became your default shot. So it's, and it really negated your use of the regular shot for the most part. But Mega Man 1 through 11. Do we have 11? Yeah, right.
You're looking at me?
You get Robot Masters. you get stages with platforming. You kill robot masters, you get their abilities, and then you go fight Dr. Wily or somebody like Dr. Wily. That's how all of them work. Anybody that says all the Mega Man games are the same, I would not disagree. But the difference for me is with each Mega Man game, you're getting new platforming challenges and new stages. Now in Hades, you get new stage themes, but what you're doing feels very much the same just because it's the nature of it's a room with a bunch of enemies. You kill them, you move on. But in Mega Man, like platforming is a major part of the experience, and you're getting like different pitfalls and different level layouts and different enemy placements that make each Mega Man to me feel like a new experience. Yes, you may be doing basically the same thing in different orders, but it still felt like a new experience to me because there's new areas to explore. You have these new areas in Hades too, but what you are doing is very largely exactly the same as the original Hades. You're put in a one-room arena and it's filled with enemies, and you kill all the enemies, and then you go into the next room. That all feels very, 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 very similar to the first Hades. Very. Feels very similar. Like there's nothing there that felt new to me. You may have new window dressing of like, oh, I'm in an underground aqueduct here instead of that like a forest. But the location didn't make it feel different. And what you're doing enemy-wise, dash, hit, avoid, watch the shots, like that all feels very much the same. Whereas in Mega Man, you are doing the same things, but it just feels different to me because the platforms are different and the jumps are different and the layout of the stages are different. Like the layout of the stages in Hades more or less feels the same. There's nothing where you're like, wow, this is a really unique layout. Like there's no like, it just doesn't feel different. And again, that's not a knock. It's just, I very much feel like you could walk. I said this in the review. You could walk from like the end of Hades 1 right into Hades 2, and like everything is pretty much the same. There's a couple of new things in there, but very by and large, it's the same. And it's people may hear that and get upset, but I don't mean it as a negative. It's just an interesting thing because it makes me think like, what warrants a sequel? What makes something feel like a sequel? And what makes something feel like a continuation or like something that maybe should have been DLC? And you could argue that there's way too much different in this for it to be DLC because you're getting reskinned everything for the most part. So I don't know. Like if it was, if it wasn't called Hades 2, like if it was called Hades, I don't know, some subtitle, I would have been like, okay, it's like they're very clearly making this like, hey, you want more Hades? You're going to get it. And here it is. And then like Hades 2 would like introduce some really new things to the whole gameplay experience. I don't know. It's just something I couldn't shake the whole time. But again, I'll circle back to where I started. The game is phenomenal. The game is excellent. The game deserves all the praise it's getting. It's finely crafted and expertly honed, and Supergiant has once again created a wonderful experience. And if you liked the first Hades, I'm sure you will like this one. And after I posted my review, I went around to read some other reviews, and there are a couple of reviews out there who bring up the same point I do. So I'm like, okay, I'm not losing my mind here. Other people did have the same question, which is nice to know, because often I feel like what I'm thinking is very different from other people and doesn't make sense to other people. But this time, at least on a very minor scale, was not the same. So Hades 2, I would say if you enjoyed the first, there's no question you should get the second. And I'm sure you will have a wonderful time with it because it's pretty much exactly the same. So next week I will have more things to talk about in general because my review is out. Let me see. Drake says, I played the Daft Punk mode in Fortnite, and it's like Rez for the intro. It has some funny little things to do. I got to do that now. That's exciting. Right Up Defect says, I'm going to buy a Wonder Swan and the Wonder Swan version of Klonoa for decent money, not stupid money. Because I got my hands on it recently and fell in love. Wonder Swan, Klonoa walked, so GBA Klonoa could run. Wonder Swan has always fascinated me. I never got one. I would like to own one at some point. And I know the library for it is pretty darn decent. First Hades is below $7 in the eShop at the moment, says Tall Show. So there you go. Go get it. And Tall Show says, what if it was titled Hardee's? Now that's a game. where you're fighting the meat sweats all the time.
Oh man.
All right, we got questions. What is going on? Some text. Oh, is it all this? It's not. We got questions. MomBrain.
Yeah.
Send your questions to goninpod@gmail.com.
Where?
Goninpod@gmail.com.
Maybe I will.
You can ask about Nintendo video games in general, whatever the hell you want. PT's question: what are some of your favorite title screens, main menus, and pause menus? Title screen, Metroid Prime's title screen always stuck with me, or intro, title, whatever you want to call it. Battletoads pause music always sticks with me. Main menus is a great one. I don't know off the top of my head. A main menu. Oh, I got to say the title screen for Twilight Princess, which I've talked about a few times because it makes me tear up. That might be my favorite of all time. Just something to that one.
So I have a vivid memory of when the Wii came out. We slept outside.
My favorite game. We slept.
That I beat that game. We slept outside of Nintendo NY and we spent like the night in the city. It was, like a big deal. So then we came home and I remember it was like I had a problem getting my Wii hooked up to the internet at the house here when this was my parents' house. And I fell asleep to the and it was so soothing and I hadn't slept enough. I slept on this sidewalk outside. But I hadn't slept enough. And so I was like home and showered and like cozy, and that I will always remember it was that.
Just a menu song like this?
Yeah, falling asleep to that.
Really? It wasn't the connecting noise?
No. I think I tried and tried and tried and it stopped trying to connect, and then that just came on, and I think I just was like, I can't move anymore. I'm done. And if you listen to it, like I feel like I could probably fall asleep to that every night. Like that should be
happy to know that there are.
Is that on your alarmo?
10 hours. There you go. You could have 10 hours of this playing at night.
Right? I think that's really nice. Like I bet I could put that on.
Comment says the nostalgia is unreal. Man, I can remember coming back from school on a Friday and just playing the Wii with the boys. I miss the good old days. These are comments I'm reading. This is the reason I'm able to fall asleep.
See?
There you go. Oh my God, thank you, bro. Wii was the happiest part of my childhood. I mean, I have very fond memories of the Wii. Nintendo should do the Wii too. You heard it here first.
Yeah, definitely.
They should surprise us and do a Wii 2.
Mm-hmm.
Menus, yes. I was going to say, menu that always gets me really excited and like pins and needles excited is a new Deltarune chapter. When like you put in your name or start your save file and then it's like, and oh, I love it. Gets me so excited.
In your pants.
I cannot confirm or deny that.
I see.
GoldenEye menu screen is good. Yeah, that is a good one. Drake says, sorry, Blood Ocean said that. Drake says, I use the weather app music in Nintendo Music to fall asleep. Yeah, there's so many good ones. I'm sure I'm just running through a whole bunch. I'm seeing like, it's like I'm dying and I'm going through all the games I played. I'm like blowing through all these game intros and menus and stuff in my mind right now that come up with other ones that really stick out in my mind. Yoshi's Island title screen is amazing. Yep, I remember that one. I definitely agree with that. That was also from Drake. Man, what else? I have great memories of like the Mitomo music.
Mm-hmm.
I really like the soundtrack in Mitomo, and there's some menus or screens you would just sit on there where I heard that stuff, and I was like, yeah, that's good stuff. Radical Defect says, we miss Mitomo. I do miss Mitomo. I really do. That was a fun little thing. And that's all I got for now. I wanna Drake, I didn't play Dragalia Lost, but I listened to the soundtrack and I agree. Great music in that game. I feel like I should read the questions beforehand just so I can have some answers, but I feel like that's also unfair to the rest of the group.
I agree. Although your answers are usually like meteor anyway, so having a little time to think.
Raw
ahead,
Meteor.
That's correct.
Raw Meteor, as in MEAT, or
No.
Meteor METEOR?
That's correct.
Raw Meteor! That's something I would yell out if I was in an anime.
Oh, for sure.
That'd be one of my attacks, the Raw
Yeah.
Meteor.
Definitely.
But not pizza breathing. Fourth form.
Pepperoni form.
No, that's not how it works. It could be
I
pepperoni
know.
breathing.
Pepperoni breathing.
Pepperoni breathing.
Which is what you do
Fourth
after you've had
form.
it. Yeah.
Stuffed crust explosion.
Ooh, yeah.
Stuffed crust dimension.
Yeah.
Radical Defect says, "Do wouldn't yell out an attack name. He just yell like what's on the soundboard." Yeah, that's probably true. I can see that. We also have a Patreon question. MomBrain, did you know that you can join the Patreon
for $1?
For $1. David has this question: any podcast members into the Souls genre? I played some Bloodborne, and I've been getting into Demon Souls Remaster, but I'm too cautious, so it takes me forever to progress. I'd like the Jedi Fallen Order / Survivor games because it was basically Dark Souls on easy mode. That's a good point. I can tell you for a fact, Doom Michaels and Nikki Hill are not Soulsborne or Souls genre fans. They do not like it at all, want nothing to do with it. I can tell you Lube dabbles with it. He played he's played a little bit of Dark Souls, but he played E-Ring Elden R and liked that a lot. So Lube does dabble with that genre. I do like some aspects of the genre. Here's what I honestly would like. This is my dream Souls-style Soulsborne game. I love the like exploration of those games where there's like booby traps and like tough like
that's what I said.
Enemies,
I said a booby trap.
As far as just like the henchmen enemies. I wish I could have that kind of experience, but without like the incredibly hard boss fights, which is arguably the biggest part of a Soulsborne. So give me like more traditional enemy boss battles from other games and mix that in with the rest of Soulsborne Souls style games where you go around and explore and there's some enemies that might be extra tough, but they're not boss battles. Because I really like the feeling of wandering around and all that. And then when you go into a boss battle, I'm like, here we go. And like I can do it for a while. I did really enjoy Bloodborne because that was more action oriented rather than like most Soulsborne, where I feel like they really reward extreme patience, where it's like defend, get in one hit, defend, get in one hit. That becomes not fun for me after a while. And after doing it so many times and getting through so many boss fights, I eventually hit a spot where I go to another boss fight and I'm like, I'm just not having fun. I don't want to grind out another boss battle. And people would be like, get good. But, the point of these games are they're very difficult. And what you see people do online is not the average experience. You get people who grind away for hours, and that's that. And if they like that, that's great. Just for me, after 8 or 9 hours of doing that, I'm like, I have hit the point where I'm not having fun anymore. So if I could have a Soulsborne with more traditional boss battles, but the Soulsborne exploration and enemies wandering around, that's what I would like. I would enjoy that. MomBrain, your take on Souls games? Big fan?
Never played them. Not for any.
Never played them. Never would.
I probably won't, but not for any particular reason besides just,
For MomBrain, the regular games are enough of a Souls-style game for her.
Yeah.
And that's not a knock against you. I'm just
Yeah,
saying
man.
that's it.
I gotcha.
You're not really playing games to look for a challenge. You may enjoy some challenge at some points, but
I like a nice
adventure, puzzle, exploration, or maybe just a relaxing game in general.
Yeah.
like a Hello Kitty or something.
Life
like
is
that.
challenging enough. You know?
That is correct. And on that note, life is so challenging that we need to rest and relax.
Right.
And we come to the end of the show. There's no music. Blame everybody else, not me. There's no fake rumor from Do, no View, no spiders,
One of these days
no
it's going to be
flies.
true.
I would like for it to be true one time, but it's never true. It's never happened. I am not putting Dew on the spot, but I do believe he will be back this coming week. I believe the path has been cleared for that to happen. Nikki Hill, I knew he couldn't be here last week and this week. I don't know about this coming week, but hopefully he will return. And we inch ever closer to episode 1000. And I will say this every week until then. Prepare for disappointment. I am not joking. It's going to be a shovel fest. I don't know what it's going to have to offer. I have some things I am working on. They are not grandiose. I promise you that. There's one thing that is happening that I am very excited about. I don't know if other people will be as excited, but I am personally, I will say, through the roof, over the moon about it. But that's just me. Better. I know you guys keep saying you want a full house for the 1000th episode, but we only have so much room and I only have so much technology to offer it. I don't know what to tell you. I really don't. Like there will be more people here than usual. I can promise you that, but there's people that just can't be here. But there's a limit on technology. Like Music Man would love to be here, but he can't. Like Stinky B is not around. He lives states and states away. Maybe I could get him to record something. I'm sure if I asked him, he would record something. You know, there's like Donnie, which is not a possibility. Not that there's any bad blood or anything. There's not. It's just it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
But no, I know Radical Defect. Don't worry. Yeah, Radical Defect says he's joking. But I know people. I'm I'm being honest. This isn't like I'm pulling the wool over your eye surprise. Don't expect anything grandiose. Like that's the tagline for this show in general. Don't expect anything grandiose. It will be a different show than usual for sure. It's going to be much more loosely formed, which is crazy because of how the show is anyway.
So like diarrhea.
Episode 1000 will be like the finest diarrhea you've ever had. How about that? There you go.
Mm-hmm.
We will do more music than usual.
I wasn't told about this, so.
Well, you're told now. You got 5 weeks to prepare.
Okay.
Yeah, I got nothing else to tell you. I'll do my best, but please have the lowest of low expectations and then go lower from there. It's really just a celebration of somehow we did 1,000 shows.
I agree.
I'm going to be honest. I keep thinking it. Keep thinking we should end the show at 1,000. I'm not lying when I say that.
Okay.
I know we're not going to, but I'm going to tell you I keep thinking it.
Okay.
It's not going to happen. Don't worry. It's not going to happen. I'm just telling you. You know, you get a feeling for when something has run its course. And I know the audience is out there and all that. And I know there'd be tons of pushback. But I don't know. There's just something. I don't know. Like go into doing something else podcast. Well, I don't know. Just listen. I'm just telling you. Send your hate mail to me. RamieCowboy@gmail.com.
Where?
RamieCowboy@gmail.com.
Maybe I will.
Please put hate in the title. Help out your local me. And that's that. I'm just now remembering I asked somebody if I could read something on the podcast, and I didn't go back to see if I got their answer. So I apologize to you. I'm just remembering that now. I will do that next week. But that's it. We're done here. I was going to say, is there an after show? I don't remember. I don't know if I got anything to talk about. But for the regular listeners, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We will see you next week. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
No, that's not now.
I just wanted to make sure.
After show. You got anything?
I don't got anything.
What's your plan for the rest of today?
I, through NJEA, get a discount on a BJ's membership. So we are the newest BJ's members.
How much is a membership to BJ's?
$15.
A year?
Mm-hmm.
You're kidding me.
Nope.
Are we going all out to the one I was talking about tomorrow? Or are we? Or could we go to the other one now? Is it open?
Yeah, it should be. I don't know.
You're kidding me. Look up the hours. This is so exciting. I'm really excited. Guys, is this exciting for you? I've never been to BJ's. God, I wish they had a name where I didn't have to say BJ's.
Open till 9 p.m.
We're going. Can we go?
Yeah, of course.
I've never had anything against BJ's. I just love Costco so much. But we went to Sam's Club before we stopped going to Walmart and supporting them. And Costco was better, but we liked Sam's Club. The checkout experience was leagues beyond Costco. It was phenomenal.
Also, I've clipped a whole bunch of coupons.
I'm not lying. This is so exciting to me. Oh my God, we're going to BJ's. We've lived here. I've lived here for 35 plus years and driven by that BJ's so many times, and I've never once set foot in there.
Well, I've lived here 43 plus years, and I've been inside of it maybe thrice.
This is, I'm so excited. It's so exciting to me. Malik Halo, thank you for the quoting me saying, never had anything against BJ's. I never did.
I'm glad.
What
glad
does
to hear
BJ's
that.
stand for as far as the place goes?
I don't know.
I want to say like its full government name. What does the store BJ's stand for? Beverly Jean Wyke.
Beverly Jeans is so good.
That's it for.
We're going to Beverly
We're going
Jeans.
to Beverly Jeans. Oh my God! That's
Also, for
it.
the record, you are a member as well as me.
The deals that they have at Beverly Jeans, let me tell you.
Ooh, good old Beverly Jeans.
Drake says, anyone else watching Peacemaker? What did you think of the latest episode? I am watching Peacemaker. I can't talk about it in detail because MomBrain has not started the second season. But when the thing happens, when the person wanders in the next or in the scene in Peacemaker and you can't see who they are, I was like, is this going to be who I think it's going to be? And it was. And I was like, that's very exciting.
I'll be leaving the Discord just in case people.
No, we're done. I'm not going to talk about it more. It's the episode that just came out. And then the second big surprise in this episode at the end of it was something I think many people were expecting. But still to see it, you're like, yeah, I thought that's where things were going. And MomBrain, look at me. Without spoilers, topically, you will get a lot from this season of Peacemaker. End quote.
Okay.
And that's it, everybody. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Play some games. Hang out with friends and family. Rest, relax. You deserve it. Or maybe go out to Beverly Jeans. We'll see you next week. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.